Hey guys, welcome back to the Rockford Ordinance. I am Chris, your host, and tonight we are here to have a good old time, good old evening of fun in our favorite subjects: firearms, AKs, ARs, throw a grand in for fun and games, maybe even a couple Glocks. Oh, an MP5 or two. What else? I don't know. Shotguns, reloading, ammo, what the gun marketplace looks like, all kinds of good stuff, right? We nothing is out of the ordinary here. We talk about all that good stuff. Hopefully you guys can see me, hear me okay, unlike last week when we had a little glitch. Looks like we only got a couple folks in here. Imagine who that is. Well, we got more than two. We got Joe in here. Good to see you too, Joe. Glad to have you. Joe's been here since the beginning. He's an awesome dude. Has an awesome family, and just a good fan to have on your side. Hope you're doing okay, Joe. Hope everything's. I know it's. Let's not say it gets back to normal. It doesn't, but the best you can. And have all those good memories handy and ready to go whenever you feel a little gloomy. But hope everything's going well. Orient Fixer is here. Another guy, been here since the beginning, and love to have him. It's not the same when you click on here and some of those faces aren't here. Chase Kelly, another one. See, we have this solid base of fans. There may only be a few of us, but we all hang, right? That's cool. How are you, Chase? Let's see. Has everyone hugged their AK today? Man, I hugged so many AKs this week. Caressed them, oiled them down, slicked them up. I did everything to press them this week. I cleaned more damn AKs than I care to talk about. I am worn out. My hands are raw, cut, black, perma-dirt. I really should wear gloves when I do this crap, but what are you going to do? Anyhow, who else is here? Squeaky Cooler. He's here. I don't know if Squeak's been here since the beginning, but damn close. DJ Miggs. Hi from Colorado. Good to have you here, man. For any of you that are new, here's how this works. I have couple things, topics, subjects I talk about every week that I come up with. Could be current events, could be a new firearm, could be something in the news, whatever it is. I cover those topics, but we go along, we follow the chat very closely. So if you're new here, jump in the chat. Just say, hey, new here. I'm from wherever. If you don't want to, you don't have to tell us where you're from. But we jump in and we follow the chat. We talk about what you guys want to talk about. If you got a question on an AK, a Garand, an M16, or whatever, we will talk about it, answer it. I don't claim to be an expert on any subject. I just have this plethora of useless knowledge jammed in my brain. And if I don't let it out every now and then, there's not room for more. So I wonder what the capacity is, like 64 gigs or 128. I don't know. But yeah, we talk about what you want to talk about. And if you have a question, ask it. We'll do our best to answer it. If I can't answer it, I haven't come across it, or I just flat don't know, someone here probably will. And, if you're new, don't be embarrassed to ask a question. Like you think that you will be like, what, really, dummy? No, we don't act like that. We get it. We want to help the new people, and we want to help them make good choices and be safe and save money and get the most for their money and learn how to do things and what works and what doesn't. I kind of wish there was something like this back when I was first getting into things. The internet was in its infancy, and there were some sites, but you really had to search, and there wasn't that much info out there. you got it from your buddies or maybe someone at a gun club or a shop, and it was a different story. Today, there's so much, but yeah, we'll do the best we can. I'm not an expert at anything, no more than any of you guys. Some guys here are more an expert on certain types of firearms than I am, and I may know more than someone does about another type, but we figure it out. So, anyways, we follow along the chat, we see what people are talking about, and we talk about what you guys want to talk about, what interests you, what you're having problems with, what you thought was cool, what you saw, pricing out there, all that good stuff. So, we got a couple things today. Um, One is a really interesting story about a certain brand of AK that I did a review on. And it was, kind of a first look review and first shots. And I may have shown it another time or two, just range video, and told you guys everything seemed to be going along good. Well, I found a major issue, and I'm going to bring it to you guys. I think the issue's out there. People have heard about it a little bit, but it's not super prevalent. Like, you don't hear a ton of it. So you may have heard about it, you may have not, but it'll surprise some of you. And I can actually even show you maybe a couple of the parts if you want. If not, I was going to shoot a video on it tonight and get it out to you, showing you what's going on with this particular AK from a major manufacturer. And the more I thought about it, the more it's starting to piss me off, kind of, but we'll see. Anyhow, who else is here? JS Spec or J Spec. Good to have you. I don't know if I've seen him here before. Let's see. Stained a new dong for a 5.56 Romanian AK while listening to the stream, making it look like a 74 Ames. So funny you say that. Sitting right next to me is my original, was the second AK I ever purchased, my original Wasser. And this is one of the Wassers before the newer ones now, where they actually do a better job of finishing them. They don't have all the scrapes and nicks and scratches and the military wood and stuff. This was an early one, and I did the shellac on it, and I did a dong for it. It came with a swelled palm swell handguard, which they're kind of rare on Romanians, but I put a dong on it, saved the other one, and the finish came out beautiful. And the Romanian grip that's on it, the Bakelite, it matches it so well. I wish I could show it to you guys. We really got to do a Wasser video. I don't know why we did a Wasser versus Vepper video. That's pretty cool, kind of comparing and contrasting entry level versus what some say is one of the greatest variants of AK to ever come into the country. I love my Vepers. I really do. They're just so solid. They're magnificent rifles, and I don't shoot them enough. I should shoot them more. But yeah, I did that dong on it, and I had it out of safe last night, and it's sitting right over here, and it's pretty. Got to redo the finish, and we'll bring you that. That gun's kind of famous. It actually is the subject of a entire how-to on AK Files as to how to do what do you call it? Appliance epoxy finishes on it. And this one, while it came out absolute perfection glass, it's too glassy, too shiny. And I learned a lot from that particular one. The one before it came out great. That one came out like it did. And then the next one after it came out perfect. And this one screwed up somehow, but I learned from it what not to do. But that being said, appliance epoxy, guys, if you're looking for a cheap coating for a gun, if you do it right, man, it can be damn perfect. I mean, really, really nice finish. It's harder than can be as hard as Cerakote or better. I mean, you can hit it with a hammer, not chip it or scratch it, put it that way. Anyhow, so the dong's on there, and it really kind of has that Ames look to it, It's a cool gun. Another one that if you looked at how crooked it was, you'd say it wouldn't run, but it does. Foxhole Review is here. Good to have him. Tex Bullington. Evening, gents. Good to have you here. Let's see, and then we'll get into things here. Who else? Who else? Squeaky again. All right, let's read through a few of these, see what we need to talk about tonight. So, yeah, I have hugged my AKs lately. Um, you know, we do so many videos, so much shooting that occasionally I'll clean one or two, but more often than not, they get put back in the rack or back in the safe. And you plan on getting to them and you don't. And, most range trips consist of 3, 5, 10 firearms going to the range and maybe one gets cleaned. Well, some of them were getting pretty nasty. And so I started at one end and just worked my way down. I'm about halfway down the rack and we still got the safe to go. And every night I was cleaning at least 2 rifles. And at first it's okay. And then it gets kind of tedious, Man, I got a reminder came up here. It's something else we're going to show you tonight. We're going to show you some birthday gifts that we have here. Yeah, it's my birthday. Well, let's just say it's close. I'm not going to give you the actual birthday for obvious reasons, but it's real close. Could be today, could be yesterday, could be tomorrow. I don't know. But it's my birthday for all intents. It's my birthday week. How's that sound? And we're going to show you some of the things that I got as gifts. And of course, they pertain to the firearm industry. Give you guys a little idea of what some pricing is doing out there and what's available. Availability has changed tremendously on a lot of fronts in the firearm industry or firearm market. Yeah, you could say, whether it's local gun shop, big box store, etc. There's just a lot more stuff out there. There's still shortages, but we'll show you what we got and what kind of prices we paid. So let's see what other comments. Yeah, we've been hugging our AKs. Colorado, how's things going out there, man? Did they get rid of the mag ban with the Bruin decision out there? You guys had something come up and a judge ruled on it, I thought. But were they going against the Supreme Court on that decision? Perhaps. I don't know. I know California did on one, at least, and New York tried, but they'll all fall into line. Bruin, guys, I'm laying off on all the political talk and the 2A stuff. I'm laying off on it because Bruin kind of did it all. It was the golden egg. It solves so many problems. And I do believe it's going to end up in the repeal of lots of stuff. Dare I say, even the NFA. I'm going to make a call now, and you guys know a lot of you guys have been following the channel. I've made some calls, some predictions over the last year or two that you guys are like, holy cow, he called it. Like 2 months ago, he said that this would happen, or a week ago, he said this was going to happen. And look, the Russian ammo ban, I called that, right? A lot of things with the imports. Now I know that's kind of, you could say, well, anybody could have called that, but different things. I forget. All of a sudden someone will pop up in here and say, he called it. Look, it happened. But I'm going to call that 2 years from today, roughly, give or take a few months or whatever. But within the next 2 years, I think you will see the NFA go away or be largely changed, put it that way. But I think it'll go away. I really do. I don't see how it'll stand. If you go by Bruin, nothing should stand. The serial number thing, there was just a case where the guy won. He was acquitted of the charges of having a firearm with the serial number defaced. He was also charged with felon in possession of a firearm. They upheld that charge, but they found him not guilty of being in possession of a firearm with the serial number scratched off of it. And why? Because of Bruin. It has to be history and text, and that they have to follow a different set of guidelines now. There was no history for firearms to be serialized. There's another YouTuber out there saying, hey, look, in essence, FFLs are even an infringement. There's no reason there should be a background check, this and that. And if you go by Bruin, it's correct. Shall not infringe means shall not infringe. Nothing in the way to stop you. Now, felons, you can go back in history, and yes, they did keep firearms from felons, but they viewed it differently. They had it where if you were a felon and you paid your debt to society, when you were freed, you were once again, all your rights were restored. You could have a firearm, all of that. And people say, well, wait a minute. You're telling me somebody that goes out and kills two people could get out of prison and get his rights restored and get guns back? Yeah, but they did it different back then. If you killed two people, you didn't get out of jail. It was either capital punishment or life, right? So, you got to look at that differently. Nobody wants a murderer to get firearms back. Nobody does. No one here does. But that being said, they shouldn't be out. So if they shouldn't be out, you don't have to worry about it, right? Well, if you want to continue to let stuff like that come out of prison and back into society, well, you got a choice to make then, right? Anyhow, that's all I'm going to say. I'm done because I think Bruin is the be all end all to it. Now, could that go away? I was thinking, how could they get around Bruin? Maybe pack the court and change the decision somehow. There's probably a lot of ways, but right now it's got them stymied, it's got them scared, and it's overturning so much stuff. So right now it's a great time to celebrate. Keep up the fight, however, because they'll keep pushing. But it's a great time. This is the strongest we've ever been. And I think it's going to continue. So I'm done talking about it. I've given enough of my breath and time and bored you guys. And if you're like me, when you go on YouTube looking for a video for entertainment, a review of a new firearm, whatever, you can't find one. All it is guys yapping about Second Amendment and they're taking away this and banning that. I'm done with it. I'm so sick of it. All the major channels. So we're just getting back to talking about guns. There's a lot of channels that avoid that completely. And now I feel and know why, because it sucks the life out of you, right? It makes you worry. And I don't want that. We want to have fun. We want to enjoy our hobby. And we want to enjoy our freedoms. And that's that. So that's what we're going with from now on. And until something proves differently or something goes completely awry or off the rails, here we are back to the business of firearms, the hobby, and collecting and all that good stuff. All right, enough said. Let's see. My mom and I are okay, but we are dealing with my dad left us a money mess. I've had to sell things out of his record collection to get the cremation money and all. Yeah, it sucks when stuff ain't planned, Joe. Again, we're all sorry for your loss, and I hope it gets better. Just bought a Zastava M90 5.56 Rabbit Hole review. Cool gun. I may have been the first to review that gun even before James Reeves. I was invited to a Zastava shoot and got to shoot it, and I liked it. At the time, the 18-inch barrel, I kind of didn't like. I understood it because in the real world, that is the perfect barrel for the ballistics of that round of the 5.56 223. You get a more complete burn, higher velocities, all of that. And it's really not all that noticeable. At the time, they hadn't even decided what they were going to ship it out with as far as mags go. And they had these plastic polymer, they were more like plastic mags that I thought were terrible. They had some other mags and some steel mags there that worked great. The gun was accurate, and I really, especially now, and I'm going to tell you about something later, I really enjoyed the adjustable gas block. And I think on 5.56 that if you're going to have an AK in 5.56, you should have an adjustable gas block. And we'll get into why real soon here. But yeah, great rifle, man. You'll enjoy it. Pretty accurate too. And like any Serbian. I still call them Yugos, guys. Any Yugo AK built like a brick outhouse, right? And I didn't care for the Hogue furniture on it much. I trashed that right away. Although got some guns with Hogue furniture, but in the AR variety. But I didn't care for it. I don't know. It's comfortable and all. I just didn't care for the looks of it. I'd change things up a bit. Let's see. So yeah, we talked about J-Spec staining the new dong. Hopefully he's doing it. What are you doing? It's a little orangey, ready Romanian. What color? I don't know. A lot of Romanian wood was just kind of a brownish, if you look at some original furniture under the handguard at the original look on some military wood, if you can find one that's not just charbroiled in there where the shellac baked away for years, you'll see. I've done them like this one's got a orangey-ish color to it, but I've done some in a brownish black with a little blacket to it. That is probably the most original. I still have a full set that I planned on selling. I had redone back when I was doing that. It was a big part of my business, actually, was redoing furniture, but still got that set. I plan on switching it out on the Wasser here once in a while, but let's see, Joe Morgan. I love the videos, Rabbit. I'm a Firearm and Freedom channel myself. That's right. Joe is going to start his channel too. We got a lot of guys starting channels here. And that's cool, man. I hope maybe some of the motivation came from me. I doubt it, but hopefully, I got into it due to other YouTubers, and I thought it'd be fun. Never did it business. Turned later to kind of preparation for a business. Still is. It's a hard road, guys, and don't expect to make money. As a matter of fact, expect to lose a lot of money. But it's fun. It's an absolute blast. I wouldn't trade it for anything. I've had a great time, and you learn a lot, and it's good. So if you want to do it, go do it, man. Let's see. Who else? Squeaky says, yeah, when I subscribed to your channel, Chris, I think you were just a little over 100 subscribers. No kidding. Wow. That seems so long ago. Man, we hit a certain point about 1,000, and then it flew to 5,000. It was slow to 6,000. Now dude, I've been at 6,500 forever, like a year. It just doesn't change. It goes up. I don't know. But since COVID, the powers that be have been doing such weird stuff and announcements, and that's a tough thing, guys. If you're going to do a gun channel, lots of luck. That's all I can say. If you're looking to make money, do it for a living. Had I put the energy into any other subject that I put into this, with the subscribers I have and the amount of videos I've had and live streams and all that, it'd be a full-time living right now, easily. But since we talk about GUNs, oh well, what are you gonna do? You just can't let them win. That's all. If you're gonna get into it, stay with it and don't let them win. Let's see. Who else? It just jumped on me. J-Beck is doing brownish, almost done sanding. Also, my M90 is hands down my favorite. Really? Well, we're going to talk about it. So I'm going to save my comments, but stick around because we're going to talk about 5.56 8Ks here real quick. It's no matter the outcome, I'm still going to be armed and prepared. Yes, sir. What do you feel about acquiring more by 39 guns? Do you think ammo will dry up? No. So here, I'm sure most of us, as well as manufacturers, know that when it comes to the AK pattern, AKM pattern, whatever you want to call it, I mean, essentially, we group so many things under that RPK even. I mean, look, what's a Vepr? It's an RPK pattern with the barrel cutoff. I mean, anything, Galils, we dump so much stuff under that. And the markets all around the world, whether it's Bulgaria or Russia or whoever, they know that when it comes to AK style rifles, Americans love and prefer 7.62 by 39. Why? Because the average guy just getting into it, I think, thinks, well, AKs are 7.62 by 39. They don't realize you can get one in 308 if you want, or 6.5, or anything almost. God, they made Vepers and just about everything. But the average guy, I think the average newbie getting into it doesn't even know what 5.45 is. Maybe some do, but there's a lot that don't. And 7.62 is nostalgic. It's Russian. It's just it's intrinsic. And when you say AK, it's just part of it. Um, do I think it's going to run out? Absolutely not. You're still getting steel case in, is still available, although I have heard some of the larger importers and online sellers are on their last batches. That being said, Palmetto State has said that they will have a steel version of 7.62 by 39 coming out that's affordable. Let's face it, right now, 7.62, well, it's come down a little, but not even now, depending where you're buying it, can be like 500, 1,000, right? Well, we have just about every other common round, 5.56, 9mm, this, that, the other, at $500, 1,000 or less, right? And people may say, well, they've never done it. 7.62 by 39 has been a very small market. Well, and I get it. You buy a white box Winchester 7.62 by 39 and it's $25 a box sometimes. Why? Well, because they never put much production into it, because the Russian stuff dominated the market, and other brass imports, mostly steel, but some brass imports dominated the market. So for them to make it in any quantity to where they could price it lower, they just didn't. But now I think you're going to see the major manufacturers seeing it as just a new market, open ground, open territory. Yeah, there'll still be imports coming from other countries, so don't worry about that. I think you'll see a lot of Serbian ammo increasing, a lot of other stuff. So that's not to worry about. Plus all the domestic stuff that'll be coming. Don't worry about it, not at all. Plus there's so much socked away. I mean, you'll have gun shows full of it, everywhere. And I don't think the price will get any worse than it is now. To those that enjoyed the low prices like me at $170 1,000, all I can say is thank you that I did the right thing and put a bunch away. I can shoot like I've been shooting every year for God knows how long, till the day I'm pushing up daisies, and I won't run out. So I'm not worried about it. I never have to buy another round of 7.62 if I don't want to. Now, will I? Yes. I'm reloading it too. Most of what I've shot lately in videos, reviews, stuff has been reloads. And to tell you the truth, I bought like 500 rounds of brass, brand new Winchester 7.62 by 39. And I'm still working off that 500 rounds of brass. Yes, I've reloaded it several times, but if I go out and shoot 300 rounds that week, I reload 300 rounds plus maybe 100. But whatever the case may be, there's plenty of it out there. It is harder to find the bullets, but again, those are being manufactured more and more. In case some of you didn't know, the AR projectile is actually measures out at 3.310 as opposed to what was that? Oh, I just lost lighting here. Oh, well, it looks fine, right? You guys can see me. It's actually kind of cool. You can see the actual LEDs and stuff in the background. So we'll leave it this way. You just can't see my eyes. I look like, well, it's almost Halloween too. So, hey, anyhow, Yeah, so the projectile on an AK round is .310 as opposed to 308 for any other 30 caliber rifle, whether that's a 30-06 or a 308, 7.6, what we consider 7.62, 308. The Russian is 310. It's a hair larger. Can you shoot 308 projectiles out of an AK? Sure. Is it going to hurt it? Nah. Will it be as accurate? Probably not. And I don't have the information, but I'd be curious as to, maybe not now because things have changed and they're going to start manufacturing 7.62 by 39 specifically for what we shoot. But I wonder, up until now, maybe right now and into the future, I'll bet you some manufacturers that are shipping out 7.62 by 39 might be using 308 projectiles. I wonder. I've never taken the time to measure any because other than Winchester white box, I don't think I've ever bought any domestic 7.62 by 39. I bought some white box once in a pinch, and I never measured it, but I wonder. And I do know that some domestic manufacturers of AK-47 variants do have 308 barrels on them. They're not 310. So depending on what you got, if one of you guys, I haven't heard, but I'd be curious. I'd like to see somebody that has a KUSA or Palmetto State to slug their barrel, just to see. I'll bet you the Palmetto is probably got a 310 bore, but I don't know about KUSA. Well, actually, I bet they have the correct bore too, but I bet there's some other outliers there that might be using 308. I've heard that. I do know some 7.62 by 39 bolt action guns have 308 bores, and that might be something you want to look at, because if somebody shoots stuff that's 310 or 311, you may run into some high pressure issues, or maybe even, I don't think you'd stick one, but it certainly would probably raise pressures a bit. But yeah, that's been talked about by a lot of people, but no one really seems to have all the info because they've never slugged the barrels or measured the ammo or whatever, Let's face it, 99% of what everybody shot was Russian steel case for the most part. Good news, Peach Red Bull continues to hit the shelves. I don't have to go into withdrawals anytime soon, so that's good. But yeah, I am not afraid of 7.62 by 39 going away in the least bit. If I were to buy anything going forward, any new AKs, they'd most likely be 7.62 by 39. Don't get me wrong, I like 5.56. I have one 5.56 AK. And well, let's just talk about it, because this is what I was going to talk about in the AK world. So I had something, I discovered something very upsetting about one of my rifles this week. And it's the Arsenal Sam 5. There's some problems with those guns, guys, and I'm sure some of you know those problems are out there, but it's not everywhere. I'm surprised you're not seeing it everywhere, but there's not that much out there. Some of the people talking about it, videos have been out for a little while, not a super long time, but I'll say it's kind of fairly new. So I actually discovered it. I heard it somewhere, and then I searched for a video and found it and went, makes sense what the guy's saying because of how my rifle operates. But I hadn't noticed any problems or damage from it. And I thought, I told you guys I was cleaning all the AKs this week, so I kind of moved that one up in the order and took it apart and went, oh crap. Yeah, big problems with my SAM 5. So like I said, I did the original video, kind of a review first shots thing. I may have done one or two other range trip videos with it. And in those videos, you'll hear me talking about how this thing ejects shells. And I was shooting, whatever 5.56 ammo I had laying around, whether that was green tip or 193 or reloads or whatever, but brass case. So I will always save my brass, right? So I shoot the gun the first few shots and I go to look for my brass and I'm like, what the hell's my brass? Like, look at, holy shit. It was like 33 paces times 3. It's like 90 feet. But the average ones were going about 60 feet. I'm not kidding you. Like 62 feet away was my brass. I would have never found it had I not walked down. I was shooting in a different area and I'm like, oh, look at all this AK brass. Oh, wait a minute. That's fine. Anyways, you hear me in several videos talk about how far this stuff's going. I'm like, holy cow. I mean, insane, right? And it puts a huge dent in it or even bends some in half. And I'm like, shit, I don't want to be shooting all this brass ammo out of it and destroying my brass so I can't reload it. So whatever, I've got several thousand rounds of Wolf and different brand steel case 5.56. I don't mind shooting steel case out of any of my guns. You guys have heard me talk about that. Guys, if you think steel case is bad for your ARs or bad for this or bad for that, no, it's not. Yeah, don't listen to the people that say that. If someone's telling you it's going to wear your gun out faster, this and that, they don't know what they're talking about. Just click off their shit. The worst you may experience is maybe replacing an ejector, not an ejector, you know what I mean? I am having a senior brain fart here. You may have to replace that 5 years from now instead of 4 years from now or whatever. It's not a big deal. It's not going to wear out your barrel. It's not going to do nothing. Don't worry about it. Shoot it. Have fun. I said it last week. Wolf 308 out of my AR-10 is the most accurate friggin' round I've ever put through it. It's unbelievable. It loves that stuff. Anyhow, it's bending up my brass, so I'm going to shoot steel case through the SAM 5, right? And I didn't think much of it. Okay, yeah, it's chunking it far. The thing's way overgassed, but knowing the AK platform like I do, every AK is overgassed. Every single one is just to what degree, right? Overgassing is partially or maybe even the majority of why the AK is just so damn reliable, right? They're pushing so much gas that thing's going to friggin' cycle no matter what, right? Mud, ice, frozen, the old story, drag it through a mud puddle and freeze it in that puddle overnight, kick the ice open in the morning, pull it out and shoot away. Yeah, well, that may be a bit exaggerated, but I've seen them work. I've seen them not work from that, but partially the high gas is why. So I kind of took it with a grain of salt, right? Okay, if I really love the gun and want to shoot it a ton, I'll put an adjustable piston in it, is what I thought. But I didn't think any big deal of it. And then I opened the top cover to look at it. And I look at the back of the bolt carrier and the rear trunnion to take a look at what they'd shown in the video. And I go, oh, crap again. So the tail, it has paint worn off, a good 1/4 inch of the back of the tail. It's mushroom to hair, not all the way around, just out the sides a little bit. You can, if you're going down the edge of the tail, the side of the tail with your fingernail at the back of it, you can catch an edge of the metal coming out on both sides. Little bit, not bad. I would normally consider that normal wear, and it would kind of settle in and be fine, right? So, and I had seen that before, and I thought, nah, no big deal. It's just normal tail wear. Um, then I looked at the back of the trunnion, and there's paint missing in two spots, one on each side of where the bolt carrier would come back, and on the back of the bolt carrier on each side is the matching paint missing where it's slamming the rear trunnion. Now, these other videos said, and maybe someone here on the channel even said, take a look at your Sam 5, that there's problems. And somebody said that there's a lot of problems out there with it, guys are finding due to the overgassing. And even one that maybe I read that it came apart and the bolt carrier hit them in the face or something like that. Now, I'd have to go back and look at comments because I think it came from the chat here, but I don't remember if they said guys are even talking that it could happen or it did happen. I don't know. On a milled receiver, I find that a little hard to believe that it completely came apart. With the round count I have through it, I believe if it was going to come apart, it would look a lot worse right now, unless this particular person had several thousand rounds through it, or at least maybe 3,000 rounds through it. I don't have a lot of rounds through that gun. I'm trying to think how many I put through that gun. I'm going to guesstimate 500, 400, 600, somewhere in there. Not a lot at all. I just haven't shot it all that much. I don't know. I was planning on scoping it, or at least some type of magnified optic, and I was having a problem finding a stock with a cheek riser high enough to work with it. I hadn't put much effort into it, but I was looking for something that would work, and I hadn't found it yet. I was going to run a 3-power prism on there or a variable optic, because I thought, oh, I bet this gun's pretty damn accurate. So I hadn't gotten to that. So I hadn't, round count's just not that high, but it's considerable for what it is, actually. And the worst part about it is on the back of, I wish I could show you guys, but you'll have a video on it soon. The rear trunnion that faces where the bolt carrier comes back. Now I'm going to show you as if I was looking into the receiver from the back, from the top, if the barrel was pointed in the air. Okay, the back of the trunnion comes from one side of the receiver, and then there's a semicircle cutout, and then it goes across to the other side of the receiver. So that's what the back of the trunnion looks like looking down into the receiver. And so when the bolt carrier comes back, it hits the two sides, and that cutout, that semicircle, is right where the stem of the bolt goes into. Normally, you wouldn't have that cutout there. And I don't know if that cutout's there because Arsenal tried to avoid issues with it, but if they did, they didn't cut it and make it wide enough. So I don't think it was put there to solve an issue. But it hits that semicircle and it catches the bolt stem, the firing pin's in the middle here. Well, maybe it's better here to do it like this. Here's the firing pin. See the firing pin? And it catches the edge of the bolt carrier or bolt stem on each side of it, just outside the firing pin channel. And it's flattening it and actually starting to oval out the end of the bolt stem. From it slamming that on those two edges, it's smashing it and causing it to oval out. If it keeps going, or let's say I ran 2,000 rounds through the thing and didn't pull the gun down or clean it or anything, I'll bet you when I went to take the bolt out of the carrier, it might not come out. I think that stem might oval out so much that I wouldn't even be able to get it out of the carrier. Right now, I looked at the shape of it and I'm like, oh man, I wonder if this will come. Yeah, and it came out. But there's some serious damage for the few rounds that are there. At first, I thought it had stuck the firing pin. They're spring loaded on the Arsenals. And matter of fact, I should compare it, but I've cleaned just a couple arsenals over the years, and the end of the firing pin, I seem to remember the dome of it, the rear of it, sticking out the end of the bolt a little further. This is pretty darn flat almost. So when I went to push in on it, that spring can be pretty hard. It moved. I also seem to remember when cleaning them that the firing pin, when you're looking at the face of the bolt, is sunk further back in. This is right almost up to the edge of the face of the firing pin stuck out. Well, now you could have a slam fire issue, right? I don't want to find out, and I am ceasing to use that gun until I figure out what's going to happen here. Guys have said they've called Arsenal uh, and or emailed and have not gotten an answer back on it. They seem to think that they weren't going to do anything about it. Let me tell you something. There's a couple of videos and people talking about it. Now mine, there's got to be a lot of them that are doing it because I haven't heard of any changes. Mine was one of the first ones to come in. It was that first batch when they said, "Oh, rare. We only got whatever 100 of them, and we're only selling them to whatever those special people are that when you call them." And they had put one aside for me, so it was one of the first one of that batch. And when that original batch sold out, the prices skyrocketed to like 3G, and then all of a sudden, magically, they had unlimited amounts of SAM 5. And the price went back down. I don't even remember what I paid for it in that initial batch. But I don't think they changed subsequent batches any. So I bet it's an issue across every single one of them because everyone says they eject brass like nobody's business. And they're severely overgassed, and lots of guys have put adjustable pistons on there. Now, that's a solution, right? I've never reviewed an adjustable piston. I've never run one. I never had the need because I haven't suppressed any firearms. Now, since we're full-time in Wisconsin, I just haven't. There's been other pressing issues, and I like immediate gratification and to shell out money and wait 2 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year for my tax stamp to come back. My personality just doesn't go well with that. If I could walk in a store, buy a suppressor, and walk out of the store with it, yeah, no problem. I'd do it. And I will do it. I just haven't. So I have no need for, gas in a gun. Are there some that I think, yeah, it'd be cool to quell some recoil? Sure. But again, I don't see the 7.62 by 39 as having some monstrous recoil, just not my bag. So no need for it. Haven't reviewed it, haven't bought one, haven't used one other than the M90. And at the time I thought, that'd be cool if you're going to suppress it, right? Or conditions weren't, because out of the gate, Zastava was marketing that adjustable gas on it as a way to keep the rifle running in severe conditions, right? They weren't really talking about suppressed, but of course, that's what it can be used for. But they weren't really pushing that. They were pushing more the harsh conditions, sandy battlefields and no time to clean a rifle and all that stuff. So yeah, it was neat that it was on there, but I saw it as kind of extraneous at the time. Anyhow, I have not called Arsenal yet. I just actually looked at it 2 days ago and actually showed it to my dad, who was here, and showed it to him. Said, "What do you think of this?" He goes, interesting, Yeah, well, that sure seems like an issue that, oh, I don't know, IO would have had, or um, Century would have had on a Century made gun back in the day, or some other pop up um, domestic AK manufacturer, before the Palmettos of the world perfected American AKs. That seems like a problem from back in the day, right? We just don't have those problems with import guns. At least we didn't on import guns in 7.62 by 39. And here's another thing with it. So now when you got a problem with a particular rifle, and you look at it, you go, oh my God, this is not just a small issue. This isn't the guy in the internet showing you a picture of his lug going, is it worn? Is it worn? Is the gun safe? Do you think it's out of headspace? Should I shoot it? And everyone's like, yeah, rifle is fine, No, it's not that. Where you laugh at the guy, right? It's like, no, this is a major problem. So now when you have an issue like that, if you're like me, now you're like, it makes you look a little closer at the rifle overall, right? And the first thing I'm thinking is, look at this gun. Everybody talks about SAMs being, this magnificent piece of equipment, 5,000 hours to mill the receiver and smooth as glass and on and on. And I start looking at the receiver and I'm like, everybody always talks about no mill marks, this and that. I'm like, look at the inside of that receiver. It's really not that nice, and then turn the receiver a little bit in the light and go, look at that. The outside of this receiver really doesn't look that nice. Kind of, if I was just buying this gun now, I wouldn't buy it, like it's just not that nice. And while the paint on the barrel has held up, unlike many others I've had, it's held up actually in this case. Round counts low, but I find that if that paint doesn't discolor and or bubble in the first few hundred rounds, that it's not going to. And I do believe that there's a way to heat cycle an arsenal with their paint, crappy paint everybody knows about. There's a way to heat cycle the gun to lessen the chances of that paint bubbling and or discoloring and or eventually flaking off. There's a way to do it. It's multiple heat cycles with warm the gun up, let it cool down. Warm the gun up, let it cool down. Get the rifle hot, let it cool down. And if you do that and basically slowly bake/cure the paint, I find that I don't have problems later on. And I've proved it over the years with many of them. One that I got just to do a review one time, I just took it out of the box and mag dumped the piss out of it, and it bubbled and came off immediately. Others that maybe I wasn't mag dumping, but I was running them really hard right out of the box. Had paint issues too. But if you heat cycle it like I'm talking about, those guns seem to have held up just fine. Now, that being said, you take an arsenal, and I don't care which one, a SAM, an SLR, or whatever, and you use the wrong solvent on it, even mild solvent like Hoppies. If you use it aggressively or leave it on there for a while, it will soften that paint and take it right off. My suggestion on an arsenal is to not use any type of solvent on the exterior of the rifle. And if you're obviously you're going to use a solvent to clean the inside of the barrel, be very careful not to expose the paint to that solvent on the outside of the barrel, or let it, drip out of the receiver or something. It will soften the paint and it won't feel sticky either. You know how things soften and feel sticky? It doesn't. If it's on there and then you wipe it with a rag, it wipes right off. You'll look at your rag and go, holy shit. Oh, I hope that's carbon. Sorry, you just lost half your paint job. And usually more so on the barrel than on the receiver and stuff. But it's happened to me with hoppies. It's happened to me with other more aggressive clean. You just can't use it. Oil only. And even then, I would test the oil for long-term durability on the paint, because some synthetic lubes may even cause some issues. Um, I haven't proven that 100%, but let's just say I have a suspicion that it can lend a hand to wearing your finish early and or removing it. So just be careful. Oil only and a basic petroleum-based lubricant, a mild lubricant, if you're going to wipe it down, let's say, or something. And in all reality, it's a painted gun. You have no reason to really do anything but wipe it down, and you don't even need oil for that matter. Yeah, it may help the painter or even out the color a little bit to look nice in your safe or your gun room, whatever. I get it, but be careful with it. Yeah. Anyhow, so you start looking closer at the gun, right? Because now it's got an issue, and now you're like, I don't know, what am I going to do? And you start looking, and you say, well, the machining's not that nice, this and that. Boy, what was I thinking when I bought this? And then I'm thinking, I wonder if my other Sams are like that. And I had the pistol out, the K model, and I was looking at that, and that has no issues. That gun's magnificent. But I didn't pull the rest out to kind of compare. And I'm going to, though. And it used to be the argument that a lot of guys would say, well, look at the money people are paying for these arsenals. Are they really worth it? Are they that much better than a Wasser, or that much better than a Zastava, or whatever the case may be? Because they were considered upper end, even top end AK variants, right? And it was one thing when they were 600, 700, even $800. It was a whole nother when they jumped to 1,200 and 1,500 and even onward. It was another thing, right? People really started to say, well, are these rifles worth it? And I was always of the opinion, and I never really stated that, and I don't want you guys to take this wrong like I'm some kind of AK snob. Those of you that have been around here forever know that I'm far from that. I have plenty of inexpensive guns. I have plenty of expensive guns. But I'm not someone that flexes. I'm not someone that makes fun of people. I love a Taurus G3 just as much as anybody else. Hell, I got a Rock Island Arms 1911 that I think is magnificent for the money. And then I've got ridiculously expensive Kimbers and other stuff. And actually, I like the cheaper guns more. But I don't want you to take it wrong. But when people would say, it's not worth the money, or, you're better off, you might as well buy 2 Wassers or something like that, I used to think, well, these are just guys that don't want to spend the money or whatever. It's kind of what I thought, because I never placed them as the upper be-all, end-all of AKs, but they were certainly higher than 50% of the way to the top. They were probably 70, 80% of some of the nicest stuff you could get out there, right? So I thought, well, that little bit of money difference, I see the quality. I see that it's, made in an arsenal, and it's, a military grade weapon and all that good stuff. And I saw the value. Well, looking at things now on that Sam 5, and then thinking back to other issues I've had over the years with arsenals, one being a Oh, what was that gun? It was an SLR 107R. So it was a fixed stock SLR 107 with a rail. And I bought it with the Plum furniture. And the gun was not new, but it was new in the box, just purchased from an individual, not from the company. Unfired, brand new in the box, but I bought it used, essentially. I got the gun, and I had a couple 107 FRs already, and I wanted the fixed stock, and this was a little different. It was Plum, and I was saving a couple $100. I think I paid $600 for it at the time or something like that. Anyhow, I got the gun, and it would jam here and there. And as it would go into battery, the bolt would hang up on the trunnion. And so I'm messing with it. I'm looking how it's running and all. And partially, I believe it was an alignment issue of the trunnion in the receiver. I'm trying to remember now. But the other part was that the machining of the one lug on the left side, you can look at just about any AK out there. Zastava comes to mind. The front of that lug at the top, they usually angle it a little, just a slight angle they take off it. It's not a locking surface. It bears pressure when the gun comes in the battery. When it hits the trunnion, it allows that bolt, if there is a slight lift, that's what it was. The rails were welded just a tiny bit high on it, on that side. So as the bolt would come in the battery, it's a little high. That locking lug would hit the trunnion, and since they didn't have that little angle machined in it, it would stop dead. Where if that angle was in it, it would slip under and into battery. So I'm looking at it, and I see that, they didn't machine this damn thing. So I took it over and lowered put an angle on it there, just a little bit, and the gun ran just fine. And that's why they do it, because stamp guns have imperfections from time to time. But this was certainly the rail was welded a hair off. Maybe as they hit it with the first tack or something, it just moved a tiny bit. So that was the first issue with it. Then the front sight block was severely out of whack. And I had to punch the pins, straighten it, re-drill the holes, and put oversized pins in it right out of the box. Some guys may have left that, but it was off enough that forget about it. I don't even think I had tried to set the sights on it yet. So I don't know if it would have run out of room or not, side to side, but it was off enough that I put it up and went, oh my God, I can't deal with that. So right out to the shop and punch the pins, drill it, put some oversized pins in, and viola, all set, right? But I'm thinking back to that gun, and then that same gun, the paint came off the barrel like nobody's business, like my bare hands grabbing the barrel just below the muzzle device. It seemed like it must have come off just from me holding it. I mean, I hadn't run the gun hard, nothing, and it turned a funky goldish purpley color that I've seen it happen before. It's usually, I thought it was originally gunpowder residue on the paint that made it look iridescent like that, but it was stuff that was coming out of the paint. And you could wipe that off and it would go away and look normal, black. And then all of a sudden, the next time you wipe the gun down, there was no paint. It was just the parked metal there. And that came off right away, and that gun is still sitting like that. Now the sight's straight, it runs fine, but should I have had to have done some machining to the bolt, had to punch out, drill, and replace pins to make the gun remotely straight. The rear sight block was all the way to one side too. So no gap on the one side and a larger gap on the other side. Should I have had to do that on brand new arsenal that's supposedly an upper echelon AK? No. At the time, I didn't see it as that big a deal because, I can fix it. No big deal. I remember thinking, well, I really shouldn't have to do this. And now I feel like the gun's just not right. But it ran fine and I kept it and never called Arsenal, never asked for any help, nothing. I just did it. It was easier. Guys, I'm pushing 60 and I've never sent a gun back to the factory for an issue. I've either fixed it or not had a problem bad enough that it had to go back. I hate the thought of having to box up and ship a weapon back, worrying about that, then have it shipped back, and maybe, depending where I lived at the time, had to have it shipped to an FFL or God knows, I despise the thought of that. Plus, I'm usually so excited about it, I don't want to let it out of my hands. I want to have it and shoot it and polish it and that's why we buy them, right? I don't want to give it up for God knows how long. Maybe it's back in a week. Maybe it's back in 12 weeks. Who knows? Maybe they say, hey, we're going to replace it. Now, I've never been through that. They're going to send another gun and now you got to do the whole rigmarole again. I just never wanted to deal with it. So anyhow, yeah, having this problem now makes me start looking back at all of them and go, are they really that nice? Are they this? Are they that? There's some issues with them, right? And back in the day, I'll say, I don't know, 8-10 years ago, they had SLR 106s when those were abundant. You had SLR 107s, obviously 7.62, SLR 106s, which were 5.56 guns, and SLR 105s, which were 5.45 guns. Well, the SLR 106s had issues. They didn't run. They just flat out didn't run. Lots of them. I remember guys just saying, yeah, I got rid of the gun. I couldn't get it to run, I believe that problem had something to do with the mag height and the trigger guard, the spacer under it, as far as when you click the mag in, how that mag sits. I believe that's what the problem was back then. Back then, all I thought was, who in the hell is going to buy a 5.56 AK? Why would you even bother with that? Kind of thinking you deserve it. You bought a 5.56 AK, we didn't even think about that back then. That was like, geez, what, were they out of everything else and it's the only thing you could get? That's why you bought it? I mean, nobody wanted a 5.56 AK. Wouldn't even think about it. Anyhow, it makes you take a second look and start thinking, how many problems or issues or things I didn't like have I had on these guns over the years? Now, don't take this as banging on Arsenal, because I have more Arsenals than any other brand probably, and it's not by design. I'm not a fanboy. I'm not nothing. It's just Arsenal has had a ton of offerings over the years, right? And cool stuff. I think my top 2 AKs, it's got to be number 1 or 2. Certainly in the top 3 is an SLR 107 FR. I love that rifle way more than a SAM, or I just love it. I think it's the quintessential AK. I like stamp guns. I like 7.62 guns. And I like that Arsenal, man. I know it's a mishmash of stuff. It's not an AKM. It's not that. I just love it. They run and run and run. My Krebs rifle is built on a 107 FR. It's a fabulous, fabulous weapon. And it's worn fabulously, or not worn, I should say, I guess. Just great stuff. So they've had so many offerings. I mean, you could get every caliber. You could get stamp guns. You could get obviously the SAMs, milled guns. You could get pistols. You could get everything, And then, of course, they offered the Russian guns, Segas and they all that good stuff, and Vepers through them. Now they're not arsenals, but the company in general, you could get all these fabulous offerings, and they were all great, right? Considered Vepers, top of the line, Um, but the Vepers and the Russian guns, uh, um, they just didn't have the issues that the Bulgarian guns did. And again, not picking on them. I'm not saying they're horrible and everybody should, get the conga line going, screw Arsenal. Not saying that at all. I have a ton of them. I like them, but it just makes you take a little closer look, and maybe because you're pissy about it, or you're like, God damn it, here we go again, some problem. And this is, um, of all the, I tell you the truth, of all the brands I own, this is the largest problem I've ever had, where a gun is literally beating itself to death. So yeah, it's a problem. What am I going to do about it? What would you guys do? Call Arsenal, obviously. I mean, what would you expect them to do? Take it back? Fix it? I mean, I could do what I usually do and go, well, I'm going to throw an adjustable gas piston on there. I'm going to figure out the settings and I'm going to shoot it like that. And oh man, the recoil, it'll tame the mighty recoil of the 223 cartridge. um, what's his name does that? God damn it. Thunder Ranch, Clint Smith. There's a interview with him where he talks about the muzzle brakes, and he's doing it tongue in cheek. He says, yeah, these guys, it's a must have, a muzzle brake to tame the awesome recoil of the 223 cartridge. I find it amusing. It's more funny because Clint says it in his Clint way of doing things. Yeah, I could do that. I could put an adjustable gas piston on there. Or I could send it back and say, hey, fix this. Now, I think to just go the adjustable gas piston route, I'm past that because there's damage to that bolt. Significant damage. And it may just be, well, the tail's got some mushrooming. But it's pretty, I'll show you in a video. And it's in my opinion, severe enough to where it may have shortened the lifespan of it, and or possibly caused or about to cause a major safety issue. And that's where if it jams that firing pin and you have a slam fire situation set up, it may have weakened the back of the receiver. From slamming it that hard. I can believe that. It certainly doesn't feel like it from a recoil standpoint. But again, you're used to firing a 7.62 by 39 AK, so 223 is like pop, pop, pop. In the first video, my son actually says he shoots it, and I said, "So what do you think?" And he says, "It's weird. I know I'm shooting an AK, but it don't feel like an AK. It's so soft, But gassed like it is, that thing's pounding, man. I mean, look at it's throwing brass 3 times further than my worst gassed 7.62 gun is. I mean, it's chucking it. It's amazing, actually. So it's got to be just pounding it, right? So now you've got the receiver. Certainly pounded and possibly weakened. You've got the bolt carrier, not only the tail, but the back of it pounded to piss. Maybe, who knows, maybe it work hardened the tail or something, but it certainly has mushroomed it. and you've got the bolt damaged, right? Um, you really shouldn't have any issue as far as damage to the front trunnion of the gun, because uh, the recoil energy has been used up and it's coming back under spring pressure, not um, any accelerated speed or pressure due to the overgassing that's already spent. But at a minimum, you got a bolt carrier problem, a bolt issue, and a possible receiver issue. Um, Not to mention all the innocent brass it has destroyed for me. um, and the poison ivy I got having to climb 60 feet into the bushes to go get it. But yeah, it's an issue. So it has to be addressed. And this isn't a $600 gun we're talking about. Like I said, I don't recall what I paid for it. I have to go look, but it was the first batch, whatever whatchamacallit was asking for it. Not fine, but whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And one guy's, I think they're $1,800 now. Did I pay $1,800? I don't know. I don't remember what they were. But if it was $1,500, $1,600, $1,800, whatever, it's not $600, $400, $300. It's a lot of money for a rifle. And I'm not just going to put it in a safe and go, well, it'll be all right. I just won't shoot it that much. No, it's a significant investment. And I'm not trying to make excuses for them. They should, I think they should send you a new rifle at a minimum. Yeah, especially since, it's not like you bought a rifle and a week later a recall came out and nobody shot them a lot. I mean, this thing's been shot. And I think it's probably done harm. So I don't even think I'd be happy with just a bolt carrier and bolt. And even then, it's got to be head spaced and everything else. So at that point, I think the gun should be replaced. I really do. I don't know. That's just my initial thoughts. Again, I've just put more thought into this just now talking to you guys than I really have since I discovered it, because I've been busy and work and whatnot. But thinking about it, yeah, that's probably, in my book, the only real solution. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking they'll say, well, that we've experienced and done extensive testing on it, and we've found that the receivers are just fine. We're going to send us the rifle. We're going to get you a new bolt carrier, a new bolt, and it'll be fine. That's what I'm guessing they're going to say. Well, I don't think they can say that. I don't think they know. How do you know? I mean, it's been pounded. You got to look at the metal on this. It's been pounded. So I'm not looking forward to the phone call. I never like to, and I'm not prejudging them. I'm not guessing what they're going to do or not do, but it's always uncomfortable to approach an individual or a company with a problem, right? And it shouldn't be, but I'm in the industry, and I'm in another service industry and or manufacturing industry where I know it sucks when something goes wrong and customers are unhappy, and I think it's uncomfortable on both sides, and it can always be made a lot easier by how both individuals respond, right? So I'm, like I said, no way prejudging or anything like that. But if you guys got a Sam 5, you better take a look at it. I just thought when I saw it, I'm like thinking, yeah, it's somebody else had some issue. It's nothing. Arsenal, doesn't have those problems. Well, let me tell you something. There's an issue. Is it just the first batch early guns, or is it all of them? Is it late batch? Mine was not a late batch gun. It was one of the first ones that they offered. So I don't know. That's what I wanted to talk about. Kind of leaves a bad taste in my mouth for 5.56 AKs. I mean, anytime I mean, I get it. Look at the AR. You can chamber it in anything. But when a gun is developed, it's developed around a certain cartridge. Now, were there design and engineering decisions made and things uh, done purely and solely on that cartridge? Were they thinking that, hey, years later, we're going to put this cartridge and this cartridge and this cartridge in it? You know, um, I'm sure when they change it, they do certain things, beef certain things up. Obviously, the barrels, things like that. But were they designed around that specific cartridge? And again, engineering designs and thought processes is all done for one cartridge. Now you throw a 5.56, sure, it's an intermediate round, just like 7.62 by 39, but certainly has different characteristics. One being, the feet per second of it, the overall ballistics of it, everything's different, right? So I don't know. But I guess the only way to find out is to contact them and see what happens. Who knows? Maybe they'll see this. Maybe it's been out there and more prevalent. More people have called them with the issue that they already have a solution worked out. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to send us the gun and we're going to and boom, done. Well, that'd be great, I guess. But we'll see. The few things I've heard about it is they didn't have an answer yet. They hadn't answered them. So I don't know. One guy said, I just threw an adjustable piston in it. It's fine. I'm going to shoot it. I don't know how much damage he had. So who knows? All right. So you guys sick of Arsenal's talk already? Just sucks. I bought that rifle, if you guys remember, before the ammo ban. And that's when I predicted the ammo ban. And I said, here, if steel case goes away, here's the solution, right? There'll always be plenty of 5.56. So here's the solution. I can shoot my favorite platform forever on cheap 5.56 ammo. Well, guess I can't. At least not yet. And I bought that SAM because I liked the overall package better than the M90. I didn't want to do the 18-inch barrel. I just didn't want to do it. No, 5.56 AKs have been around forever. The Wasser was made in 5.56 back in the day. Actually, not the Wasser, the SAR. It's essentially Wasser. But there's an SAR 1, 2, and 3, right? 7.62, 223, and 5.45. Those guns ran excellent. When they did have some problems, but it was mag related, not gun related. And they're still out there running just fine. There's been a lot of 5.56 guns. There's been Norinco 5.56 guns, all kinds of stuff. And those ran great. So it's really nothing new. I think they goofed up on GOP and messed up the gas port size, I believe. It's probably a little bit large. So who knows? Yeah, and how do you fix it? Let's think about that. Do you have to replace the gun? Yeah, because it's going to continue to do that at those pressures. So yeah, your barrel's wrong because the gas port's wrong. So yeah, to make it right, the gun's got to be replaced, period, end of story. By time you end up swapping out barrels, swapping out maybe a receiver, or just, let's say, the barrel, the carrier, and the bolt. I'm in manufacturing. I know it's cheaper to crush it and hand out a new one than it is to fix it, by far. So, I don't know. We'll see. Obviously, there's no denying the issue. I mean, it's there. And The only fix is to reduce the size of that gas port. I don't see them going to some aftermarket gas piston and saying, here, we'll install this piston. There's your solution. As a manufacturer, I would never rely on somebody else's product to fix a problem with something my company built. That's just, how do you stand behind that? How do you know it doesn't add to the issue? Maybe there's another issue by adding that. Who knows? Maybe it doesn't hold up like it should. Who knows? Whatever. But that's not a solution. That's not fixing it. That's band-aiding something. Anyhow, enough of that. I didn't see what you guys are saying about it here. So we will to the comments, and that was the main thing I wanted to talk about today. So we're going to get onto your stuff. I do have one other thing that's going to be kind of cool, and I bet you guys have the same issue or have run into the same thing. It's kind of a funny problem / whatever, but it's kind of cool. Let's go. Let's go back here and look at what you guys are talking about. Man, you guys been posting up a storm. I must have been talking for a while there. All right, here we go. We're back where I ended off last time. Okay, there we were. Jay Speck was talking about staining his dong. Nothing worse than a dong with stains. God. It's called soap. Okay? And a washcloth. But you don't want to rub too hard. Oh, let's see. There's Squeaky, Tex. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to. Joe says, I found Rock from 2A-EDU. Then a day later, he did first live stream when I was waking up. So I watched, and here I am now. Yeah, 2A-EDU. I ran across his live streams. And this was back at when he first started. There was sometimes there'd be 15 of us in, kind of like we are here. I'm showing 18 people in here. He started like that, and some nights it'd even be slower. And then after a while, it jumped to 30, and then 40, and then 50, 100, 200, 300, God knows. He's just like a rocket ship, man. And I thought, man, if he can do that, I can do that. I thought this will really add to the channel. Well, it's like actually almost harmed it, I think. But I watched his live streams. And if you guys haven't been over to 2A-EDU, go check out his live streams. I think he's on Friday nights, if I remember right. I haven't been over there in forever. He probably thinks like I abandoned him or something. But it's just how my schedule has changed and stuff, and things I've had going on. Everything's been screwed up for the last year. Some of you guys know why, but I don't want to go back into it now. But it's just my life's been messed up for a year now. So things have changed. But he's got an awesome, awesome live stream. He's got an awesome channel. And I think I found him, I think early on he was doing AK videos. He's got a lot of AKs. Guys, if you think I got AKs and I have done tests and videos and this and that, maybe he doesn't have as many videos, but man, he's got AKs and really nice, cool stuff. He's got some rare stuff, rares Estavas, a lot of cool kits that he's built or had built over the years. And just he knows his stuff, and he's got a lot of them. He's an AK guy. I think he considers himself an AK guy. He always referred to me as that. Yeah, that's what this channel started as. And it's still my main focus. But I love a lot of rifles. We're not just AKs. Go look at my videos. You'll see. We do everything. I love everything. From black powder to milsurps to the latest and greatest to pistols, shotguns, rifles, bullpups. I love it all. And eventually, if you corner yourself down to one particular section or rifle style, you're gonna run out of things to say, right? So we cover it all, and I never fails. I walk in a gun shop with something on my mind of what I might be looking for, and I go, "Ooh, what's that?" And I go home with something totally different that or something I never heard of. Walked in a gun shop one day, and there's a AR-15 style Turkish shotgun sitting on the wall, of which I always thought, piece of shit. But I looked at this one. The guy said, "Check it out." And as he's handing it to me, I'm thinking, oh, this plastic piece of junk. And I go, "Oh man, all metal, nicely done." I'm like, I'm impressed. I'll take it. And I bought a VR-80 shotgun long before it was on the three gun scene like it is. So Sunday, I'm out at this three gun shoot, and I'll bet you half the shotguns at that shoot, at least when I walked up to this particular stage. But yeah, I'll bet half the shotguns were VR-80s. I'm not kidding you. They have just skyrocketed. There's a ton of aftermarket support for them. They're great guns. Great guns. I had the opportunity to talk to a couple shooters about their guns and what they thought. And the one guy told me he's running it in competition, but he's not 100% confident in it. He said, "I broke it in, and it just hasn't gotten to where I thought it should." And he's run a lot of rounds through it. And it just hasn't got to where it's 100% reliable. And I asked him, I said, "Well, if you've done this and done this and done this, you probably want to take the ports up one drill size, go really slow and just notch it up one and see how that goes. You just need a hair more juice sometimes on them." Mine ran great, frankly, while I tout breaking in that shotgun by running 50 slugs through it, 100 rounds of buckshot, and then switch over to some high brass bird shot for a couple hundred rounds. And then the gun should run just fine on lighter loads. I really didn't have to do that much break-in on my gun. It ran pretty well right out of the box. And I can run, 2.5 dram, even it ran 2.25 dram shells, no problem. I was shocked. Yeah, it just runs great. But a lot of guys, I assume most competition shooters know, but even then, some guys shoot competition and they just don't know their guns, don't know how to work on them, don't know how the principles they work on and what does what. So you get some very experienced guys asking, "Well, what gas ring should I run on it? And what gas ring should I use for this?" And to me, it seems so obvious, like people should know, but a lot of people don't. And they can't look at a gun and say, "Well, if I do this or clean that up a little bit, it'll be fine." And I got a feeling in a lot of cases it's very minor stuff, but mine runs just fabulous. Matter of fact, we got to get a video out there, some more videos on it, because it's been one of the most, anything I do on the VR-80 is one of my most watched videos. So there's a ton of them out there. It's an inexpensive gun, guys. It's like you can get them all day long for $600, maybe $650, $700 on a bad day. And they're great. I mean, mag fed, the mags work great. The mags aren't that expensive. You can get 5 rounders, 9 rounders, and 19 rounders. And you can easily make those 10 and 20 rounders in about 3 minutes. So they're, you got 20 round capacity right from the factory for 3 gun. Just buy the mag. And they look ridiculous and they hang long, but that's 3 gunners do that. The biggest problem you have is finding a way to hold that mag on your belt. And they make clips and stuff, but they're long, they're unwieldy. But how many you really got to carry in a stage? Maybe 1 extra, Either way, they're a pain. You can run a drum. They make 25 round drums for them that run fabulously. but they're big. I wouldn't run the drum. I'd run actually, I think there's a happy medium. I think I would take a 19 rounder and make it into a 15 rounder, or 14, 13, so maybe even 12. And you'd have the perfect mag for competition and to carry your extras. It wouldn't be so long and banging around all over the place. That being said, they're great guns. You can customize them. You can put any stock on it you want, just about any grip. The controls are AR style. They're not interchangeable, but there's triggers for them. There's extended safeties. There's charging handles. That's one thing that's different. The charging handle is different than an AR. But interesting. Great guns. They seem to wear exceptionally well. The only extra part I would stock would be the rubber buffer on the bolt. Maybe an extractor. I don't know. I've had great luck. They run fabulous. I haven't needed even chokes on the thing for any 3-gun shoot I've done. A guy asked me, he says, man, I see your, well, that was on the Vepr actually. But yeah, I don't run chokes on either of my Vepr or that for anything 3-gun, and I break anything that's out there. You guys think, oh, you need this full choke and to break those clays that far out. No, you don't. Shotguns, I think guys think they spread out much faster than they do, but they don't. Anyhow, VR80s, all kinds of stuff we've done. I don't know how I got on that whole thing. Oh, 2AEDU. Great channel. Go check them out. Just great channel. He covers and does so much for the Second Amendment with politicians and rallies and all kinds of stuff. And we went to his shoot last fall in Michigan and had a great time. I wish I could have spent more time with him that day, but he's hosting it. He's busy, and I just met a lot of people for the first time. I don't know if any of them are in here that were at the shoot. I know a couple are, but I can never keep the screen name, the real name, and the face all put together, So shout out if you were there. And we shot video. I never put it out. I should put it out now that it's fall. I wonder if they've planned a shoot. I just haven't been on the channel to even find out. If they were, I would go again. I really would. It'd be great because I get to see my daughter same time because she goes to school out there. So it was a good trip. And great channel. Go check them out. Anyhow, that's how I started the live streams. And it's been a blast. So let's see. Oh, Joe, happy birthday, Rock. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And somebody's probably asked how old I am here. I don't know if I'm going to tell you. I'll think about it for a minute. Glad I'm not talking to myself. Let's see. Went nuts on Zastava AKs lately. Picked up 2 M70s, an M77, and an M95.56 since August. Well, yes, you have. I went nuts on Zastava years ago. This whole thing, after the Mosins, and I did that Mosin video. I told you guys I have some footage of the fireballs out of the M44 at the range, and that's all the footage I got. We got to the range late. It got dark, but I got fireballs. Maybe I'll put out a short showing the fireballs. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll save it for another video when I get to the range. We'll see. But yeah, thanks for the happy birthday there, Joe. I appreciate it. Dixie Living, hey, Rock. Hey, guys. Happy birthday, Rock. Thank you. So proud to be with y'all. Staying frosty. Yes, indeedio. I said the importers would be targeted too, but I'm thinking the cheap pistols like the Brazil and Turkey will be next. Taurus was always made in Brazil, right? I don't know if they're still doing it or if they've moved everything here or what, but Taurus always bought all Beretta's old equipment and dyes and all that stuff, and produced the stuff they were producing on Beretta machinery, exact copies of it, So they were over there, and I haven't followed it. I don't know if they're still over there, if they're producing here and there, or just here now. But Taurus says they were never bad guns. They just got really good the last decade. They've gotten better and better and better. There is nothing wrong with a Taurus. And years ago, some people shied away from them, but I've had nothing but good luck with them. Do I think they're going to go after them? I thought about the Turkish thing because all the shotguns, and of course the AK Segas copies and the AR-15 shotguns, and even like the VR-60, which unlike the VR-80 is, I don't think that one's semi. I think it's like pump or something. I don't remember now, but they have some that look very tactical, but in reality aren't. And then they have a lot of sporting shotguns too. CZs are made in Turkey. A fine gun. I have a side-by-side that is my pheasant gun that I love, and it's made in Turkey, and it's a really nice shotgun. Is it Italian quality? No, absolutely not. Italians, they make fabulous shotguns. There ain't nothing like a Perazzi when you're on the trap range. But then again, you got to have 10 grand to throw around, Well, at least 6 or 7 grand. But yeah. Will they go after him? I don't know. I don't know if they'll go after Brazil. I'm thinking if Taurus is still there, Taurus has some pull. I don't know if they'll go after him or not, but we'll see. And Turkey, maybe. But again, it's shotguns more than anything, and they may stay away from it. I don't know. Chase, there was a federal judge that kicked out the serial number stuff. Yeah, that's cool. That was awesome that they did that. Rabbit hole, one more reason to pick up another Taurus. Yes, sir. Rock starts talking about it while I'm typing. What did I start talking? Oh, the serial number thing. Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome that happened. Let's see. Joe, we're having a hard time right now. I forked over again this week. Yep, the money flows quick, doesn't it? Let's see what else. Dixie went to the fish fry tonight and saw so many old friends. Would love to have had each of you there. Nothing like a good old fish fry. It's not even Friday. What are you doing at a fish fry on a Tuesday? See, in Wisconsin, fish fries are on Friday night. That's what you do. You go out to fish fry. And then you get to work the next day, or it's, oh, yeah, did you make it to the fish fry? Yeah. Oh, it was excellent. Excellent fish fry. Yeah. I don't do a Wisconsin accent very well, but, my grandmother did a perfect one. But then again, she was born and raised there. Hers was heavy, heavy, heavy. Oh, thanks loads, honey. Oh, God. It's a mixture of like Swedish or Norwegian with whatever localized, It's funny, though. You can tell people from Minnesota, Wisconsin, even the Dakotas get a little bit of it. But it's really heavy. It's the heaviest, I think, in northern Wisconsin and Minnesota. And it kind of drifts down from there. Milwaukee, you'll find some people with it. But at some point, someone in the family was from up north, and that's where we get it from. I don't think I have any of it. Mine's too Chicago. I have a Chicago accent. They all made fun of me in college in Michigan because I said theater. I don't know. How do you say theater? It's theater. I don't know. They made fun of me for it, though. Oh, God. Let's see. Joe says, I'm so thankful we are all still free, armed, and in the greatest country in the world. Sure, life sucks day to day once in a while, but we are all able to arm and prepare ourselves as a human right. A lot more than you can say for most countries, right? It's just that they like to chip away at it, don't they? But like I told you, Bruin, in my opinion, handled all of it. If that will sustain, and it's kind of early to say, but I think it will. I don't know how. Maybe you guys have put some thought into it. How would they chip away at it? And I don't even like to talk about it because it probably just gives them ideas, right? But I don't know how you chip away at a Supreme Court decision like that. It's so well written. I'm sure they'll find something he can cover his bases on, but all the experts are saying he covered it all, man. There ain't no way around it. And he's right. He's right on the money. He stated exactly what we all think. So I think we rest easy now. I think that decision's in, and the rest is a piece of cake. We get our rights back slowly but surely. I think the NFA is going to go away within 2 years, and barring any unforeseen tragedies regarding gun control, I think we will be fine. So there. Let's see. We're only free so long as we maintain it, Joe. Midterms are hugely important. They are. And who was that? That was ILS 84. They are. They're saying that a lot of these races are so close within a point, this and that. And, a few months ago, they were saying, oh, it's going to be the wave. We're going to sweep it. We're going to take the House and the Senate. And then all of a sudden, oh, it's a nail biter. It's so close. Is it? Isn't it? I don't know, but I'm not going to back off. I'm going to vote. Make sure you get out and vote. Make sure everybody you know is going to vote, and tell them why. Most people know why. It's affecting them every day. At the gas pump, at the grocery store, their gas bill. Hey, dig this one. It's not gun related. Well, it is, because it affects what I can spend on my hobby. So, as most of you probably are, I was on the budget plan for gas, natural gas, right? And last year, my monthly gas payment was about $60, right? Yeah, well, I just got the new bill and the new average and what I'm going to pay for the year now on that average. It went from $60 to $240 overnight. My budget plan. 200. No, it was more than that, because it's more than I figured out when my wife told me, and it was more than 4 times what I was paying. So maybe it's 280, something like that, 260. Yeah, it's more than 240. It's upper twos. Let's say 280. Okay, that's what my new gas bill is, from $60. That being said, I got to assume my electric bill is going to do the same. And if that's the case, holy crap, I'll have $600 electric bill. So I'm not kidding you. I think I have some pushing 4 now in the summer. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Food. You get the kids married off and moved out, and my food bill hasn't changed. I'm feeding 2 for the same price it used to cost me to feed 5. Think about that. Feeding 2 people for the same weekly cost as it used to be feeding 5. You think you're going to get a break? And nope. So my gas bill went up the amount of, I don't know, maybe not a car payment, but a motorcycle payment. Electric went up to, for sure, at least a car payment. And then your food bill, certainly, Christ, I could go out and I could probably lease a Lamborghini for what I pay in those 3 bills. I'm not kidding you. And just what they went up. It's insane. How people on limited budgets or lower incomes, I don't know how they're doing it. I have no idea. And they just expect you to tighten the belt, right? While they've done everything in their power to cause all this. Oh, and tomorrow he's selling, 10% additional of the strategic uh, oil reserves. He's selling off another bunch of it. We're down to almost nothing, guys, just so you know. I think there's 20% of the strategic reserve left. How do you run an army on that? If you have a big, if they kick something off over there, how do you run an army on 20% of your strategic oil reserve? How do you do that? And you're not opening up your drilling, and you're not giving permits, and you're closing down pipelines, and you're bombing undersea natural gas lines and all that other good stuff. How do you do that? And everyone says, well, why would they do this? Why are they doing that? That's crazy. That's the guys. Yeah, it is crazy, but they know what they're doing. It's all the plan. They're doing it. They're taking this country down, and there's a reason for it. They want it down. It's not going to be what it was if they have their way. But we will take care of it, won't we? All right. Orion Fixer. Hey, Rock, I just thought, but couldn't you put up a gun rack up in the background and stage the weapons you plan? Yes, I can. And I did it a couple times, and none of you mentioned a word about it. Right up here on the top of the thing here, right here, there's a couple live streams where I have them sitting right there. And sitting just like this, and it's right over my shoulder. Nobody said a word. They didn't even go, oh my God, look at that M70, or oh my God, look at that Sam 7K. And they're right there, and nobody said anything. I do have those steel wall panels like Iraq Veteran 8888 has. I had enough of those panels to do the entire gun vault. And they were stacked in my business, and we're going to come home with me, and we're doing some construction there, and a skid steer backed into them and bent them in half. That was the end of that. And they're very expensive. I mean, that was enough to do, 18 by, let's see, 18, 20, 36, 56, 60 feet of wall all the way around. It was enough to do that. All the hangers, everything gone, trashed in a moment. These panels were so heavy. They were industrial ones, not the crap you buy, that one system. These were 1/4-inch panels, and they weighed an absolute ton. And that thing, well, you know how heavy a skid steer is. That whole back cover is cast or solid steel or cast iron. I don't know what, steel, I guess. Yeah, they weigh a ton, and it just bent those things like nobody's business. So that shot that in the ass. And I certainly can't afford to do the whole thing. I was still going to do the one wall. Maybe I will add a small wall back here. That would be cool. Iraq Veteran has a cool way of doing it. It always looks good in the background, right? And for sure, you could set it up where it's sitting there, maybe even torn down or whatever, so you can see what you're talking about. And there's no rule against it as long as you're not touching it and moving it and all that kind of stuff. So we could do that. That's certainly a plan. So I'll see what I can do about that. Good idea. Appreciate that. Let's see. Getting ready to pick up a Tavor 7. Cool. So an SAR you're talking about? Not the new one that I have, the X95. I love that rifle. That, I'll tell you what. Put it up against the AK and the AR-15. That Tavor X95 is, man, it's right there. That is certainly something that I think everyone should consider as a go-to, whatever you want it for, home protection or get out of Dodge or TH situation, SHTF situation. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. The more I shoot that Tavor, the more I love it. It's the trigger is amazing over the original ones. The original SARs, the triggers were like 10.5 pounds. They were horrible. Yeah, there's a solution to it, but it's just so much better, this new gun. Yeah. Funny. I'm curious as why you went with that model and not the X95. It's just fabulous. Like I said, the more it grows on me, and the manual of arms, once you get used to changing those mags out, and all it is leaning it into your workspace. And by that, I mean right here. Boom and drop and done. It's great. Sorry about the noise in the background, guys. Anyhow, that's cool that you got one, man. Now, if you don't have one, go get the X95. Let's see. I was eyeballing a Tavor 7 at my local gun shop, says Squeaky. Oh, man, we got comments here. I got to get caught up here, so let's whiz through these things real quick. But I got to get back up here to where it just bumped me out. Man, what the heck? You guys must have a lot. Here we are. Nope. Still not back there. I'm sorry, guys. Where are we? God, man, you guys are chatting up a storm. I have a KNS piston on my Galil Ace. Curious why you did that. Did you suppress it, or did you feel it was overgassed? My Ace thing's great. Thing is awesome. Yeah, there's guys talking about recoil buffers on the Arsenal, but guys, recoil buffers are just a patch, and a shitty patch at that. An AK should not need a recoil buffer. If you need a recoil buffer, the gun is built wrong. It just is. No reason to run one. The only gun that I have that I consider it probably needs it and should be there is my mini Draco. That's the only one I consider that because it's so short, you know. And that's even kind of wonky how they did it with the plastic block in there and all. Again, I'll just reiterate that's the case. Where the heck? How did you guys get this many comments in here? Oh my God. I'm going way up, and you guys, there's a ton I got to cover here. I wish somebody said, I wish the Stava would have the older M70 pattern butt stocks. You're talking the original military ones? I hope you're not talking about those giant canoe paddles the NPAPs used to have that would kick you in the face and bruise your cheek. They were terrible, 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 terrible. But yeah, get yourself a set of military wood for it. But I do like, so they refer to them as a Warsaw size stock or the NATO stock, right? The Warsaw is the smaller of the two, but not the teeny tiny, I guess like a Wasser military stock. I like that Warsaw style stock. It's fine. Unless you're going to shoot optics, but then, you know, there's plenty of other options as far as either a buffer tube or some type of folding stock or something like that. I love triangle stocks. SLR 107 with a triangle slot stock. I love that gun. Super light. It's still comfortable. I don't mind underfolders either, frankly. I don't see what people hate about underfolders. Now, a Romanian style wire stock, like on the my Paratrooper RPK, yeah, that leaves something to be desired, but it's so different and so cool. You got to have one, right? Um, let's see. There, I'm back to where the Tabor was. Okay, we're going to cruise through this now. Um, we talked about acquiring the By 39 gun. Yeah, no problem with that. Keep buying them. You'll have plenty of ammo. No problem. Barril's back in stock. Way too much, man. I was talking with my dad last night. I definitely want a Baril. Let's face it, guys. Polish guns are fabulous quality, fit and finish, great looking gun. They run super well, high quality. Whether it's a Fox or any of them. But that Baril is so cool because it's not only an AK, but it's got so many different features, like the rail over the dust cover and all. That's a really great way to do it. It's solid, it's secure, and it's different. It's totally different. The Baril that Misha shows with the forward grip and all the cool stuff on that gun, the military version, man, that thing is just cool. He refers to it as an Archer, but it's a Baril. He says Baril/Archer. I love that rifle. I would love to have one. I was going to get an M77. Too much. Went with a Set-Me. Love roller guns. J-Spec, so weird you're talking about that. I had a Spanish Set-Me out last night, just looking at it, showing it to my dad, telling him about how that was like essentially the predecessor to all HK roller lock guns. And the guys that developed that Spanish AK, or Spanish Set-Me, were the same engineers that ended up going to HK and making it what it was. They started off in France. They had a contract with France to come up with a military weapon for France after the war. I don't know if they didn't want to spend the money or the project was going sideways or something. Spain made them a better offer. They went there, they built the Spanish Set-Me's, and then they ended up at HK, and the rest is history. The Spanish Set-Me's that Markelmar did and brought in, if you're thinking about you want something different, something cool, you don't want to go AR, maybe you just got a bunch of AKs and you want something different, but really cool, great looking, a lot of fun, built super well and was super detailed. If you can still find them, I haven't looked in a while. I assume Markelmar has some. Get a Spanish Set-Me. There's the fixed stock, and then there's the L, which is what I have, the retractable stock with the bars on each side of the receiver. So cool. Comes with the original flash hider because they put a barrel extension and flash hider on it, weld it, and pin it. And you can take that off and put the original flash hider on and SBR it if you want. And it's such a cool gun. It's smooth like you wouldn't believe. Takes AR mags, 5.56 223. Great gun. Awesome. And it's different. Everyone's like, wow, what's that? And it's OD green. Cool, cool, cool. Love it. That's why I bought it. I saw it was OD. I'm like, need it. I need to hire a cute gun bunny to feature on my channel. Me too. Got any? I want to get some bikini gun bunny here to help me out. I think my wife would be all right with that, right? Maybe she could move in, live in the gun room. It'd be all right. I don't know if she'd go for that. Maybe she would. That's hilarious. Has anyone had good luck with US Palm mags? I've only used metal and Magpul. I have not used them. I've heard good and I've heard bad. I don't know. It's, with the choices out there, my one question is why. It's, there's so many com block steel mags out there that are hard to beat. My go-to mag are the Bulgarian waffle mags. Yeah, they're expensive, but they're fabulous. Nothing wrong with Gen 3 mag pulls with the steel lips and all. Those are great. Even the other ones for range mags and stuff. Hell, if you can find some Tapcos, since they're gone, you used to be able to buy them for $5. Nobody wanted them, and everyone made fun of them. Well, I'll tell you what, I've never broken a Tapco mag in my life. I have original ones that are 25, 30 years old, and they're like brand new and run. Yeah, he may get made fun of, but great mag range mags. I don't know, US Palm. Yeah, there's a couple other brands. What's the one that Breezy tests out over on his channel all the time? Those are great mags too. I just bought a PSA 556 AK. Been loving it. It's running good for you, no problems. And it was probably 1/4 the price of that Arsenal. Squeaky, bring on the gun bunnies. I know just who I'd get to. There's this one girl, she did a lot of tactical calendars. She's on Instagram, and she went under one name for the longest time, and now all of a sudden it's under some other name. There's some real stuff to look at on Instagram, isn't there? I just want a 556 AJ for logistics reasons. Yes, absolutely. Commonality of ammo, Joe. That's what we're talking about. And it's everywhere, right? In a shit hit the fan scenario, just about any house in the U.S. you went into, you could probably find a box of 223 or 556. Minor fitting to your gun, not unheard of, Chase, but no reason not to get enough mag to have 10 per rifle. Absolutely. My analytics are crazy. I'm making 20-minute videos, and the average watch time are under 3 minutes. Yeah, isn't that crazy? Or you'll get them like 2 minutes. Here, this stream tonight, the average watch time will be like 4 minutes. And it's a 2-hour stream at this point. And like 3 minutes, 5 minutes. People have the worst attention spans. I don't know about, or they just don't like what they see. Maybe they hate my channel. Who knows? I'm boring. But yeah, it never ceases to amaze me. When I watch a video, it would have to be horrendous, but I watch it all the way through. I always do. I don't know why. I don't cut it off. I don't get that. I just don't. What about you guys? I'd like to see some comments on that. Let's see. Whole thing. See. Reloading may not be around much longer. Heard of the Fed boys are going back after primers again. Listen to this one. So I said it's my birthday, right? And I had some presents that I was going to show you. So I stop at a Cabela's. Had to drive a friend that, it's a long story, but had to drive a friend down south to Chicago to the airport, right? And we met, long story, needed another car. They met us, this, that, met at a Cabela's. So I go in, and I'm with my mother, actually. And I said, I want to go in and look at reloading stuff. And she said, okay, hey, it's your birthday. I owe you a present. So pick something out, whatever. So I grab this. I grab a box of projectiles, right? Tell me that doesn't look beautiful. Look at that. Copper. They're like gems, right? So I grab a box of 9mm. And this will give you an idea of price, guys. Now, unlike most powders, they pack this powder in 8-pound kegs instead of the 7-pound. And this is what I use for 5.56.223. TAC, great powder. Look at the price on that. What do you think? Crazy or not? I don't think it's all that bad. I don't know. But so got that $250, right? And I don't know what else I got. I guess a couple of small boxes of 223 68 grainers. But they had a lot of powder. Now, powder has not been around like that at big box stores. stuff like that. Just haven't seen it. They have not had it. You may get a 1 or 2 1-pound things. They had a ton of powder. No primers though. No primers. But here's where it gets good. This was, I told you, down in Illinois, right? So I walk up to the counter. All I have is projectiles and the powder. Now the cashier has not even seen the powder yet. She grabs the bullets and she says, "Can I see your FOID card?" And I said, "FOID card? What for?" "Well, for that." I said, "It's not ammunition." I said, "They're projectiles. They're pieces of lead. I don't have to show an FOID for sinkers, fishing sinkers, right?" And she says, "Well, I need to see an FOID card." I said, "Excuse me, I think you're wrong. Can I talk to a manager?" Right? Before she does that, she says, "Well, do you have a concealed carry?" I said, "Well, yeah, I got a concealed carry." I don't tell her it's from my state, right? So I show it to her. She doesn't even look. They don't do anything. "Oh, all right, fine." And then she gets the powder and everything's fine. But they wanted an FOID card to buy projectiles, bullets, and powder, I assume. Well, powder, gunpowder, so you guys know, is not an explosive. It's not considered an explosive. You can, if I order from Cabela's online, they don't ask for anything. They ship it right to my house. Same with bullets, right? Can go anywhere. Why that? They've gone nuts down there. Or maybe they were just wrong, but it actually came up on the register. I saw the screen and said to check. Um, just unbelievable. I can't believe that. For a bunch of lead bullets, you need some registration card? Get the hell out of here. Crazy. That was one of the things. That's why I was going to show you those, because of that situation. I just couldn't believe it. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, Joe, most are 310, 311, but there were a few American manufacturers that were making them in 308. I have AK. Let's see. I've been spending my free time helping thousands get first gun or upgrade. That's awesome. Let's see. It's been hard for years thinking about scoping one of my Yugo M48s with a Z-Rack mount. Hey, Arkin scopes, Arkin Optics. You guys have heard of them? It's a veteran-owned company, and they are high quality or mid quality glass at an inexpensive price. I'd say right there with like Primary Arms, that kind of thing. They have a couple different lines. One will have Chinese glass. The upgraded models will have Japanese glass and all, but made in China. I got to shoot one the other day. I think it was 9x24. I was impressed. I was impressed at the clarity. All of it. I thought I shot it on an AR-10 308, and the guy got it for $300, including the Arkin mount. The Arkin mount and the rings are built into the mount, but for $300. And I'll tell you what, for that kind of money, it was awesome. Now I can't speak to the longevity of it, how it's going to hold up, all that, but it certainly seemed, zero stops, everything. I mean, and they adjusted nice, really easy to use, and set the zero stops easier than my Primary Arms gold model, which is their upper end. Easier. Will it hold up as well? The Primary Arms might have been a hair clearer, but a really nice scope for $300. Man, the one I'm talking about, the Primary Arms, is now an $900 scope. But great stuff, man. If you get a chance to check out Arkin, I certainly would try it for $300. How do you go wrong? If you don't like it, sell it to somebody. What about a rubber buffer on the spring sitting on the back trunnion? I normally put one on my overgassed AKs. That's a complete Band-Aid. I've held the position for years and stated it on the channel in many, many videos that I hate those rubber buffers. I don't think they have any place in an AK, nor should you need one. Um, Everybody will tell you the same too. Rob Ski, what's his name? Reeves, they'll all say the same thing. If you need one of those, your gun's not correct. All AKs are overgassed to some extent. They're just not slamming the back of the trunnion. If they are, there's a problem. I have a Canis on my Glil. My Glil, I don't, unless I was going to suppress it, I wouldn't bother. Recoil buffers, yeah, we just talked about that. For a stream that is supposed to have 20 people watching, the chat is surprisingly dead. You think so? I don't know. It says, well, now there's 13 or 14 on there, but I don't think that's ever right. I don't know. Maybe it is. You would think with so few people, there would be more conversation. We always tend to have the same few guys that really get in there. There's a lot of people that just look, that just lurk. You know, it's the same way all the time. If you're showing 200-300 on a stream, you might have, I'd say, I always think there's like 10-15% of the people actually chat. You'd be shocked at how many people just don't want to expose themselves, for whatever reason. Can you jam some steel wool in the gas tube to tone it down? There you go. Bam. Stuff that right in there. And blow it out just as fast as you put it in. No better feeling than getting a product that you walk away with the feeling like you got an excellent value. I really like some of my less expensive stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's all about at the end of the day, guys. What makes a product great? That you got more value, or you feel you got more value than the amount of value you laid out to get it, right? That's always the best. All right, then. Guess that explains the low numbers in dead chat. Yeah, right? Yeah. John Michael just listening in. Yeah, that's a lot of the case. Sometimes people jump in if they're excited about something we're talking about, that kind of thing. I'm an AR guy, but I do have an AK. Also, I don't know a lot about different AKs, so I count on learning from guys like me. Okay. Yeah, there's the only way to do it is jump in. You'll learn. Yeah, you jump in and you start researching and learning the slight differences. Today, there's, because of channels like Rob Ski, I don't know, maybe mine to a tiny, tiny extent, but many other guys, they've driven those bad AKs out of the market. The IOs of the world don't exist. All that other stuff. Some of what was the one out of Arizona, and then they bought it out. I think Palmetto bought it. The ones, not to say they were terrible, but all those bad ones, other than maybe Pioneer and some of the Century stuff. That's Century is half the reason why Rob Ski and these other channels started to exist, is they wanted to test these guns and show what were good and what were bad. And it killed the bad ones in the market. Killed it, and they either left the space or it drove them to get better. And today there's very few AKs on the market that you couldn't just grab and have a great gun. Look at Palmetto State. They're a prime example. They had to build a great gun, and they did. And they tried and tried and tried. I mean, I don't know how many gens there were, at least 3, and probably going in the 4th and 5th gen till they got it right. Just strange. Look at my camera's not focusing because the low light in here. I lost the light early in here. I only have 2.223.556 guns, a Ruger Mini, and a PSA 5.56. I can't afford to build between child support, work, bikes, guns, and ammo. Yeah, right? Hey, you do what you can, that's all. You do what you can. Abe Red Boys, what? Two ARs myself, both. I was going to get an AR, Joe, but ended up meeting the mod from 28EDU channel down at Knob Creek. Oh, what was his name? He was a mod here. He still is a mod. When I first started the channel. I'm just having a brain fart because I wasn't thinking of it. Any Fed boys, rather? My damn autocorrect is communist. What? Fed boys where? In the channel, you think? Is that what you're saying, Joe? Hattori Hanzo, he made it. Had all my CMP paperwork ready and then noticed I need notarization. Damn, cannot get it notarized until next weekend. Don't worry, you're that much closer to $1,000. That'll be cool. Not a damn thing wrong with a PSA. No, sirree, there is not. Or an Anderson. Anderson's, they catch a bad rap. Anderson's a great company. They build great stuff. They sell it at affordable prices, and it's great. I want the 13.7 pin and welded with Brownells as advertised. I haven't looked at it. I recently acquired a 14.5 M4 and welded and pinned, and I cannot express to you the difference that 1.5 inches makes. It just makes it so much better. If you haven't done one, pin and weld one, you'll be happy you did. It's great. Rock, that subject you speak on is exactly what my life with Liberty and Guns AR-15 this mess of stuff. Want to go. Exactly. Sorry, I'm trying to breeze through here, Joe. I bought an M90 last year and haven't been impressed with it. It's horribly overgassed even on setting 1. Really? Really? You know what? Let me ask you guys this. Like you just stated, it's horribly overgassed. What did you notice, or what are you saying? What about the recoil or the recoil impulse causes you to say, hey, this gun's horribly overgassed? I just want to see if some people are confusing it with something else. I'm just curious as to your answer. I'm not saying you're wrong or anything like that. I'm just curious. Sometimes I get the feeling that people think a gun is overgassed when it's not. Tell me your reasoning on it. I'd be curious. Or anybody jump in and tell me how you when you shoot a gun and you go, oh my God, that thing's overgassed. Why? What are you feeling? Tell me. I'm just curious. M90 is 18.25. Yeah. 18-inch. If you're referring to it as an 18-inch barrel, yeah. I would consider that an 18-inch. Most shotguns that are 18-inch barrels are a little over it. Everybody does it for the oopsie factor usually. Now I know in that case they got some room from 16, but that's what they do. I have a buddy with a VR80 or one of those. He adores the thing. Yeah, people love them. Yeah, they're great guns. True American Loretta finally made it. Good to see you. Bunch of Smith revolvers. Can't go wrong with Smiths. Yeah, Rock Island VR80, or I don't know, I mentioned the Rock Island 1911s. Hard to beat for the money, guys. The VR60 and VR80 are cool as hell. If ever I buy shotgun, unless it's $100 cheapo. Got a G2C and G3. Great guns. Hard to beat that. PSA dagger for modern stuff. Yeah, I've been thinking about a PSA dagger. Not that I really want one, but to show and test on the show and see what you guys think. Would you guys like to see a review on one of those? I carry an Airweight 38. I love Airweight 38s. I have one. AK Old School made it in. Just check it in, Rock. Climbing on my train in New Jersey to bring back home. We'll have to watch tomorrow. No problem. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Enjoy it. And thanks for stopping in. Squeaky, the one I was looking at is odd green too, just like my X95. My X95 is green too. I love it. If it's OD green, I gotta have it, man. I gotta have it. Hey, Miles is in here. What's going on, Miles? Good to see you. You must have just dropped in here at the end. It's good to see you in here, man. Cabela's on your way to the airport. You were 10 minutes away from. Really? Well, next time I'm down there. Mateo, yeah. Mateo is a mod here. He used to stop in. He hasn't stopped in a long time. Other than him, I really don't have a mod here. The A2 carbine I built was the best rifle besides the Mac 90. Yeah, A2 is a nice pattern. In my opinion, or at least in my world, the A2 gets forgotten about. I go A1 and then I jump all the way up. You know, I don't know. I just do. Just handy as my rifle would be. So we made it through the chat there. Okay. So we talked about the problems with the Arsenal Sam 5 and it beating itself to death. What I'm going to do about it, I don't know, but I'll bring you guys a video showing you the damage and see what we're going to do about it. It upsets me. That's an expensive gun, and it's the only one in that caliber that I thought was kind of a lifeboat, sort of, if 7.62 went away. That's not going to happen, really, but certainly it would be more available in some situations. So that upsets me. The pricing on that powder, I mean, I see $40 a pound powder is kind of average on the retail end. Now online you can get it maybe a hair cheaper, but certainly not much less than 35 a pound. So what's that work out to? I got miles in here. 255 divided by 8. What's that come to? So let me know. Couldn't be too bad. Let's see. Hattori dagger is great. Still not many holster options, but a nice gun. Snapped one on a sale back when they sold out. So do they still sell out? It seems to me like I see them all the time on their email blasts they put out. And hey, for a Glock wannabe, how do you beat it? What is it? 200 and something bucks? Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Oh, shot the piss out of my Glock 44 the other day. So we were having I wanted to do a 22 day, the Henry 22, a few others, and I brought the Glock along. And that gun had problems with certain ammo, and certain ammo it ran perfect. So let's see, Norma TAC 22 jams every round. Every round it jams. Aguila 38 grain runs it like nobody's business. I ran 300 rounds as fast as I could shoot it and load. I had to load some mags in between, but every time it just bam, 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 and not one flaw. It just ran and ran and ran and ran and ran. So I would, not that I would carry a 22, but something's cool about carrying a 22 for a concealed carry every now and again. I know a lot of guys would say, why would you do that? Oh my God, you put your life at risk. Well, it's still better than nothing. And once in a while, I'm just saying it's kind of the idea of it, and just knowing you got a 22 is kind of, I don't know, cool once in a while. But I can completely 100% trust that gun to work all the time, every time, with that Aguila 38 grain 22 ammo. Norma, you might as well throw the gun in the river. A couple others too that it wouldn't run well on, but that stuff, as long as I can get a solid supply of that thing is perfect. I'm going to test it on some 40 grainers, and I can't remember how it ran on CCI mini mags because that's probably what I would carry in that gun. So hopefully it'll run well on that. We'll see. But man, it was fun to get that out and shoot it. And like I said, I was just running it for to see how it ran, just reliability testing. So we were on a rifle range at the time, 100-yard range, and I was shooting at a steel plate at 100 yards, and I was hitting about 3 out of 10 at 100 yards with it, as fast as I could go, mind you. I mean, literally, ba 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 ba. Drop the mag, load another one, and they were watching through a 24 power scope, and I was hitting a roughly 3 out of 10. Not too shabby. And had I taken my time and just seen where things were going and kind of adjusted my hold, I could have hit more. But $31.80 a pound. Hey, that is an awesome price for a powder that quality in a retail setting like that. So that was an awesome deal on that powder. Can't beat it. I'd gladly carry my old 9-shot H&R revolver. A stopped one in a sale back, sold out. Oh God, I just jumped on it. Old 9-shot H&R revolver. It shoots anything and everything, if even shot 22 ammo. Yeah, 22 revolver. I don't know. Yeah, it's certainly reliable, but it's bad enough with well, your 9 shots. What's the difference? I adore those scrap plastic grips on a pistol. Never hit a single and 5,000 rounds. Wow, reliable. So speaking of plastic grips, this is the last thing. If you guys got some comments or some questions you want to ask, you better get them in there now because this is going to be our last thing. I think everybody has this in their shop, on their gun bench, or whatever. Somehow I accumulate these things. They're either takeoffs or they came from somewhere, obviously. I don't just go out and buy these because, oh, look at that. These have accumulated, and there's more. There's some that I have simply replaced with more modern things, and I've kept the originals in the box of the modern thing. So this is only extras that have come from somewhere, and I don't know where. But tell me if you guys have this. This is a box of grips, okay? And it's a lot of them. And it's a little bit of everything. I'll show you. Just your average black. I think this is USA made. Let's see. It'll say Century. That came from Century somewhere. Ooh. Here is a Russian plum, a real plum. You guys know how to test or how to make sure it's a real plum? Let me show you. I hope you can see it because I usually do it with a different one. But take a very strong LED flashlight and put it inside the grip. You see that? That's pretty much true color there. But you see where the light's hitting it up? There you go. That's how you tell a real plum grip. So that's a Russian plum right there. You can't tell here. Obviously, it looks black, right? But that's a Russian plum, a mint Russian plum, by the way. And how I just end up with an extra one of that, I don't know. What's this? This is Romanian Bakelite, old one, and it's actually, instead of just the wood chips in it, it's got string in it. You can see the string. It's hard to tell here, guys. My light went bad earlier, but this is a really nice Romanian grip. Where that came from, I don't know. Another Russian plum right there. Mint, too, not a mark on it. What's this? Oh, who can guess what that came off of? What did this come off of? You should know just by the shape, this ugly ass thing. It's ugly, but I'll tell you what, these grips were very nice for what they were. They were comfy. Quick, anybody can tell me what this came off of and who made the gun it came off of. And I'll be impressed if you can tell me. Quick, anybody? Got a couple seconds. Nobody? Okay. This was the original grip that came off the M70 AB2s when Century first put them out. They ended up putting these on a lot of other guns. It's a Century grip, but it was off an AB2. And I bet I have a bunch of them in here from different. Yeah, here's another one. That might have been on an NPAP maybe or something. I don't know. Cheap American. Ooh, Russian bake. There's Russian bake. Nice one. Oh, an original. This was for the import to get them in the country. This was off of Makarov. Just a rubber crap grip. Oh, this is a Ruger AR-15 grip. Another USA. I'm just trying. Oh, look at that. Who knows what that's off of, huh? That's Tapco, guys. When Tapco was big back in the day. What's this one? Oh, this is off a Scorpion. That's a stock Scorpion off a Scorpion K. Another junk AR. Tons of AR grips. Oh, look at this. Bakelite off of Makarov. This one. This is Russian, not Bulgarian. That is Russian. You can tell because the ring around the star is fatter. There's a difference between the Bulgarian star ones and the Russian star. The one will have a larger, fatter ring around it. Other than that, they're identical. And what's the rest of this? Just all crappy AR grips and a couple of Scorpion grips, aftermarket ones. I don't know where they come from. Literally, I don't buy them. They just show up. Some may have been whatever. I don't know. I have hordes of them. And then there's, stuff just appears like AK handguards. I must have 20 of them in AK gas tube covers. And it's just amazing where all these parts come from. I had bins of it laying around. I started identifying what each part was and putting them in baggies, and from sights to pins, trigger pins, and springs and recoil assemblies and all this stuff. It was amazing that I could take every single part in these bins. I was able to identify and know exactly what it was out of and all and write it down, and I put it all away. One day when I kick the bucket, at least they'll know what it was and what they can get for it or sell it for, I guess, right? Or find a home for, one of the two. But then I thought, I should just sell all this crap and turn it into several new rifles or something. There's that much of it. That's how I build ARs on weekends. I'm bored. Well, let's go dig through the bin. Oh, there's a barrel. There's a receiver. And the next thing you know, I got an AR put together out of parts I had laying around. It's crazy. I could do it with AKs, but it'd take a little longer. I came across a couple flats. The one is a Romanian flat, and the other is a bulged trunnion flat. I just, off the top of my head, I couldn't figure if it was Yugo or I think it might have been, I think it's actually for Romanian RPK, maybe. But one of these days, maybe we'll bend up a flat and put something together. We'll see. If that's still legal. I don't know. I have to look. Guess I should read a few things. Anyhow. Joe, I need a good AR pistol grip. My clone has the A2 on it. Been meaning to upgrade it. So what kind do you need, Joe? I'll send you one. Got plenty of them. Rock, how much for the AR-15 pistol grip? Oh, he's asking. It's free to you, Joe. You just let me know which one you want. I'll send it to you. I want to replace the stock wood grip on my M70. I have a mag pull, but not sure. So how about that, guys? I assume, Hattori, when you're talking about your M70, you mean your Z-Pap, right? Because those wood broomsticks they put on there as grips, those are the worst effing grips I've ever felt on an AK in my life. Zastava should be ashamed of themselves for putting that on there. There's absolutely no grip to it. It's not ergonomic. It's round like you're holding onto a broomstick. It is by far the worst grip ever put on an AK variant. And I would literally take Century's old grip they put on the Yugos over that piece of garbage any day of my life. Okay, maybe it matches your nice wood or maple or whatever they put on it, but the shape of that piece of garbage is ridiculous. It's the worst thing in the world. I should replace it, but with the maple, flame maple wood on mine, it matches, so I leave it. But I hate it. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I will carve it, actually carve it, change it, and checker it myself and make it look really nice. I think that would be a better solution. I'll get some finger grooves in it. I'll thin it out on the sides, and then I'll hand checker it. You guys will be able to see my checkering abilities. Actually, how bad they are or something. I don't know. Yeah, do that, Joe, and I will take care of it. But yeah, if Hattori, if you're talking about that, man, it's terrible stuff. Local gun shop also had an Arsenal custom shop SAS M7 underfolder gray Cerakote. What's your opinion on that? $3,000. I really like it, but $3,000. So Squeaky, the only gun I am missing out of my Arsenal collection to complete it is an Arsenal underfolder, Sam 7. And for the longest time before this craziness, meaning that $3,000 happened, there were two. There was the Sam 7 underfolder, and then there was what you're talking about, the what do they say, the SAS M7. So that's actually a custom shop gun. It even was before they did the hideous fucking colors they put on there, the gray, the all tan. There was a full plum one. You want to talk about ugly? That was by far the most hideous. I can't even believe they did it. Like, you just took a good gun and destroyed it by painting it plum purple. And the problem with them is the entire thing is the one color. So no matter what color it is, the gray, the plum, the tan, all of them, they look like absolute garbage to me. The cool thing about that SAS M7 is the SAM 7 underfolder stock goes straight back, similar to like an M70 or something. And then the SAS, it's kind of a throwback. They were doing a throwback thing to the down slanted underfolder, like the Wasser is. The Wasser has the slanted one. And at first, I hated the slanted one. I didn't want it. I just thought, eh. And it was a custom shop gun, kind of a hybrid. It wasn't an actual military built for a government military gun. It was something that the custom shop came up with to look like the real deal, but it wasn't. But the original ones were all done in the typical AK black with real blonde wood on them, and they were gorgeous. They were absolutely gorgeous. And then they did these things. Why the hell? Yeah, here, I know why. You know why? Because they're always looking for something they can call a special edition, limited availability, this and that they can make a ton of money on when there's not a lot of other guns being imported. So everybody had been waiting for underfolders because there was none. I had waited too long. I should have bought it back then. It would have been $1,200 and done. But I should have bought the SAM 7 gun. It depends what you want to do. If you're trying to complete your collection and you want the SAMs, then get the SAM 7 straight stock. That's the gun they build. That's the gun they sell to militaries, all that stuff. And it fits that collection if you're trying to complete the SAM collection. If you just want a nice underfolder that has that nostalgic look and all with the slant, then I'd buy that SAS 7. But I would not buy one of those colored ones. I would look for one of the older ones or wait till they come out with them. To me, the gun to do would be probably the SAS gun, but get it in black, get rid of the blonde wood, put a Bakelite forend on it and a Bakelite grip and an old school sling on it. And man, that is one, and a Bakelite mag, and that is one of the most gorgeous AKs ever made. I've bid on a couple of them already done up just like that, and I was drooling over them and just haven't been able to bag one. So, but now the price is so out of sight, I can't even see that. I mean, I remember when Vepers went to that, and I thought I wouldn't pay that for a Vepper, let alone that. Well, now Vepers are at $6,000. I mean, that's crazy. And I wouldn't trade my Vepper for. I got it, Joe. It came in. I'll take care of it for you. You gotta let me know which one, because I don't know the grips, AR grips, like I do AK grips. Are you talking about? Let me see. What's here. Where the hell they all go now? Are you talking that grip with the finger thingy, mahoozy? Or are you talking about, where'd the other one go? Oh, let me find it here. Sorry for the delay in things. Was there another one? I thought there was another one here. Did you tell me there was two here? I got more. Oh yeah, they're all in here. So there's two with the finger groovy thing, and then there's that one with no beaver tail or anything, just the straight. This is actually a Magpul, I think. Yeah, this is a Mo Magpul. And then that's it. By the way, I know why I have this one. This I put on the VR80. It's hard to match the VR80 receiver because it's not really an AR receiver. But because there's no beaver tail or anything, because some of the beaver tails leave a gap on it, this matches up perfect to the receiver and looks like it was made for it. So if you're looking for a different grip that you want to meet up perfectly with the receiver on a VR80, get the Mo. That works. Their beaver tail K grips work as well. They cover most of it. They cover the gap, but they don't meet it just perfect on the beaver tail. But it looks good enough, and that's what I run on it. But this looks perfect. I had so many people ask in the video, what grip did you use to make it match so well? And it was this one. The only problem with these grips is they're so damn tiny. This is like a slim or something. I don't know. It just, or maybe it was just that it was the Mo. See, I got my glasses. I can read it. Hold on. It's a Mo S. Yeah, I think. I don't know. Whatever it is. It's super slim, super tiny. It's smaller than the regular one, but it's got a good texture to it. So I assume you want one of those other ones, Joe. I'll send you that if that's what you want. Just let me know here. I'll read back later or send an email and we'll be done. Like a Magpul style grip for an AR, but I'm not picky. Okay. I'll see what I got. Maybe I got a better one. If I got a K grip for one, I'll send you one because those are nice. I might have a Hogue laying around or something. I don't know. I'll see what I got. Picked up a used 19 MOS last month. Came home this month with the used 17 MOS. Both ran me. Wow. Nice price on them. The one with no beaver tail is what I'm looking for. Okay. I'll get you that. No problem. We'll work for guns. What's up? What's up? Good to see you. We're just ending. I'm sorry. We've been on a long time. Okay, Raj, I'm loving the roast. You're on a roll. What else do you hate? What did I say I hate? Oh, the the grip on that Z-Pap. Yeah, what a piece of garbage. And Squeaky, can you imagine $3,000 for those underfolders? They got to be out of their mind. I don't think they're selling. Maybe they are. Maybe there's some newbie friggin' morons that are paying that for that gun. But you got to have your head examined, especially something that ugly. I can't believe you're thinking about that. Do not do that Cerakote gun. You'll be so sorry down the road. I here. I will end my channel if those things become collectible because I don't see it. I just don't see it. They're not real military. They're something out of custom shop, and they just did it all wrong. I mean, they should have. You want to do it color? Great. Do the receiver, do whatever, but leave the underfolder black and the other stuff. They just, it was the fastest, crappiest job they could do and asked ridiculous money. And somebody's going to pay that? You can, no way. You can get so many other things for that kind of money that you can double and triple your money on in a couple of years. I was going through stuff last night that I've in 5 years have doubled, quadrupled, 5, 6 times my money in under 5 years. It's crazy. Spend it somewhere else. Now, if you can find that original, the black normal one, buy that, fine. I guess since that's the only one I don't have and it kind of completes things, I guess if I had to pay that, I'd pay it. But I think I'll wait and see if I find a deal somewhere, private party, something like that. I don't know. But that's, yeah, I can't even, I can't believe they're going for that. Saw it and almost crapped, yeah. Outstanding. Well, that's going to be my next project. Gabriel Buddhist, happy birthday, Chris. Awesome. Well, thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I appreciate it. And yeah, we're going to have a good one this week. Hopefully get to the range tomorrow and have a little bit of fun. Shot my 30-30 Model 94 that I got when I was 16 years old for the first time in a long time the other day. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds going left to right, so I'm not going to count that, but it shot about 3-4 inches high at 100 yards. Yes, it was off to the right, but that was because of the wind. It was dead on other than that. And I put 3 rounds with iron sights out of that 30-30, 150 grain federal box ammo, and it shot about roughly 1.5 to 2 MOA at 100 yards with iron sights in my old eyes. That's good enough to take a deer anywhere, and my shots where I hunt are no more than 40 yards. So I'd say it's good to go. I think it must be sighted at about 200 for the way it hit, but I could lower it down for 100. But why? Where it's hitting, even if it's hitting high and a little right, it don't matter. It's taking that deer down. But the OD Green Tavor 7 was 2,000, and yeah, this isn't cheap. It would look nice next to my OD Green X95. Absolutely. I would buy the IDF one they came out with. They came out with that IDF package on the Tavor that had the glass and a couple other things. That's a cool package. I almost had one and I lost it, but it was cool. I should have bought it. It was a neat gun. If I found one, I'd buy it. I can't believe what people pay to pretty up. Yeah, it's totally ridiculous. Check the used section. Yeah, I keep watching GB for one, but everybody on there is asking stupid money too. And they got those same ugly ones for sale on there. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you do need to get you a lever gun. They're a blast. I love shooting the 45 Colt. Man, that's a fun gun. I load the hottest damn rounds for that thing. And the hotter I load them, the better that thing shoots. It gets more and more accurate. Squeaky, I was thinking the same thing about the Arsenal underfold. I would rather the black or or black with plum. Yeah, it's spending $3 grand. The gray is probably the best of the three, or maybe the tan. Dude, the plum. Look for a picture of the plum one somewhere online. You'll want to throw up. It's at first I went, oh, it's so hideous. Maybe it's okay, and then I'm like, no, they're just so bad. I can't even fathom it. Anyhow, guys, we've been on a long time. Uh, that's about all I got. All I got. All I got. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We had some good stuff tonight, huh? That Arsenal. What do you guys think? Nobody mentioned it much. Um, yeah. Now when you get something wrong and then you start to pick it apart. The milling, mill marks, uh, things. Yeah, I'm not going to pick it apart. It looks fine. It may be one of the rougher ones I have of a Sam, but it just that ain't right now. That overgassing. I never expected it. Never expected that in a million years. And when it first starts to develop, it's like, okay, that's normal. The tails can do that a little bit. And then all of a sudden you look and it wasn't that many rounds, So one day at the range, basically, for a normal range day, 300, 400, 500 rounds, whatever. And all of a sudden you look and you go, oh my God, it's demolished, It wouldn't take one more range day like that. It would be over with. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some research, give them a call early this coming week and see what they will do. So that's about it. Thank you guys. Thanks everybody for showing up, coming in, having a good time. Thanks for the birthday wishes. Just another year in the books, that's all. And nobody asked how old I was. That's a good thing. All right, I'm 42. All righty then. On that note, it's a good night. Appreciate you all. Love y'all. Thanks for coming. Stay frosty and keep collecting, keep having fun. Bring us back some stories, man. Tell us what you brought to the range. Tell us what you're doing. This is the best time of year to shoot, guys. It's cold out or chilly out. It's been really cold, windy. We had some snow the other day. Got about an inch melted off, but there's still leaves falling. Just north of us got a bunch of inches, like a foot, man. So wind is coming quick. It comes quick up here in the Great White North. Anyhow, yeah, that's all I got. 42, yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for everything. We'll see you in the video this week, and we'll see you next week right here, 8 o'clock Central. Coffee and Kalashnikovs. Does that count as a plum mug? Anyhow. All right, guys. As always, Rockford Ordnance out. Good nighty, nighty, night. Yeah, go check out the replay, man. Sorry you got here late. Night.